Solo Leveling sequel is finally here with a bang. The story revolves around Sung Soo-ho, the son of the great shadow monarch, Sung Jin-woo. Sung Soo-ho not only inherited his father's excellent genes, but also continued his father's initial setting as a weakling among non-awakeners. This is a world ruled by outer gods, who since ancient times have created countless supreme beings in the universe. They are called absolute beings, and the absolute beings are obsessed with the pursuit of eternal life. In this process, countless material souls and rules came into being, but in this boring and unbearable endless cycle, the absolute beings suddenly came up with a game. That is to watch the wars of the modified beings, which is a pleasure for the absolute beings. The created beings fight, die, and are reincarnated in endless wars, repeating this cycle, but this is merely for the amusement of the absolute beings. However, an accident still happened. One day, an absolute being observing the endless war was killed by a being it created. Upon learning the news, absolute beings from other worlds gathered to observe the world that had lost its master. The death of one of their own, and killed by a created being at that. Who would have thought that the absolute beings were indifferent to this? They only had one thought now. That was the power of the lost master. Whoever gets it first will own it. And Sung Soo-ho is in this world created by the absolute beings, and he was admitted to the National Academy of Fine Arts. His friend, however, was in disbelief. How could a rough guy like you get into the Academy of Fine Arts? And I have to repeat a year. Just then, a voice suddenly came from behind him. Congratulations, Sung Soo-ho. I heard you got into the Academy of Fine Arts. I didn't expect you to have such talent. Since when did you have painting talent? The person was none other than the school bully, Kim Song-chol. Damn it, I'm warning you again. I'm not Kim Song-chol. I'm Lee Un-chol. It's all because of you. My plan to dominate high school was ruined. To this, Sung Soo-ho said dismissively, thanks to me, you were able to graduate smoothly, weren't you? The students were already used to this scene. They're about to graduate. How is Lee Un-chol still so childish? Why does he always have to provoke Sung Soo-ho, whose parents are missing and is still forcing a smile? Who would have thought that in the next second, Lee Un-chol would even try to lay a hand on Sung Soo-ho? But Sung Soo-ho first dodged his attack with a sidestep, then grabbed his head. We're close to graduation, so behave yourself. With that, a murderous aura erupted from his eyes. A flying knee strike landed squarely on his face, but Lee Un-chol suddenly wore a wicked smile. Saying that, he gathered power in his right hand. Are you not eating, Sung Soo-ho? Then, with one punch, he almost sent Sung Soo-ho crashing into the wall. Seeing this, Sung Soo-ho was also stunned on the spot. The classmates nearby were also scared into gaping mouths. At this moment, Lee Un-chol withdrew his attack. A large hole the size of a well entrance was left on the wall. Lee Un-chol couldn't believe his eyes. When did I become so strong? 3 years passed in the blink of an eye, and Sung Soo-ho was now in his second year of college. The surroundings were noisy at this time. It turned out that all classes in the main building were moved to classrooms in the annex building. Please go to the annex building for class as soon as possible. Hunters have entered the gates to subjugate magical beasts, so everyone is temporarily unable to enter. At this moment, a man in a suit asked, how long have the hunters been inside? It's been over 8 hours. They are D-rank hunters, so they should be coming out now. And the staff outside were still reminding non-hunters to leave as soon as possible, as lingering would be dangerous. And all of this was due to what happened 3 years ago. 3 years ago, after the gates appeared all over the world underwent drastic changes. The gates are passages to dungeons, and every once in a while, a large number of magical beasts would pour out from them to harm humans. But as if to counteract this, humans also quietly underwent changes. A large number of espers with magical power appeared, and awakeners emerged like mushrooms after a rain. In this rapidly changing world, it was thought that the chaos would continue. But an awakener named Woo Jin-chul founded the Hunter Association, gathered awakeners, and established the position of hunter. The state of chaos was quickly brought under control. Therefore, humans are now divided into 2 types. One is hunters with awakener status. The other is ordinary people with unawakened status. Some outsiders have to work like ants to earn rewards, while some can get considerable rewards without doing anything. In such an unfair social structure, the ants deeply realized the gap between themselves and the awakeners. But no matter how hard they tried, they could not bridge the gap with even the lowest level awakeners. If hunters do not protect the gates, the entire world will be destroyed. That is, without awakeners, these unawakened people cannot survive. Conversely, even without unawakened people, awakeners can still continue to survive. Therefore, the general public is still grateful to the hunters. Because of their existence, the public can live a stable life. But at the same time, a sense of panic also arose in the hearts of the public. Everyone has gradually become accustomed to the state of being powerless. Lost parents, life held in the hands of others, and the void left by losing everything during the time they were full of expectations for the future, all were occupied by this sense of helplessness. Mom often said Sung Soo-ho is like his father. In this powerless situation, how would his father break through the situation? At this moment, a sound of Soo-ho interrupted Sung Soo-ho's thoughts. You're really focused today. What are you drawing? So serious. This ant you drew is really unique. No, it should be called an Ant-Man. To this, Sung Suho was also in a daze. Why did I draw this thing? Meanwhile, on the street outside, the hunters also slowly walked out of the portal. It looks like this operation was quite easy. Everyone looked like they had returned victorious. At this moment, a staff member responsible for interviews and records asked, "You've worked hard, Hunter Kim Jong-soo," but Kim Jong-soo had a serious expression. Although this dungeon subjugation was a great success, there is one thing that must be reported to the Hunter Association. We encountered a new type of magical beast this time. It's a humanoid magical beast that can shoot blue flames from its eyes and mouth. It mainly attacks with claws and fangs, but its lethality is very low. I was scratched by it this time, but I didn't feel anything, so it doesn't seem to pose any danger to us. This is also the first magical beast we've encountered since the gates appeared. Fortunately, it's not a dangerous one. But in the next second, blood suddenly flowed from the place where Kim Jong-soo was stabbed, and a strange energy erupted from the wound. Immediately, he became disoriented. Seeing the scene, the interviewer immediately asked in confusion, "Are you all right?" But Kim Jong-soo seemed not to have heard. So the interviewer shouted again, "Hunter Kim Jong-soo!" But who would have thought that Kim Jong-soo suddenly roared, and a strange blue energy spewed out of his mouth. Immediately after, he pierced the interviewer's chest. Seeing this, the Hunter teammates nearby were also surprised. "What's wrong with Hunter Kim Jong-soo?" At this time, Kim Jong-soo no longer looked like a hunter, grabbing and biting humans wildly. Seeing this, the pedestrians on the street could only flee for their lives. The students also looked out the window curiously, but after seeing the scene below, they couldn't help but gasp. The humans on the street who were bitten by the hunter were attacking each other, and blue flames were burning in their eyes. Now they were like magical beasts. Could it be a dungeon break incident? At this time, some people advocated for fleeing quickly, while others wanted to wait for hunters to rescue them. "Teacher Lim, aren't you an awakener? Please think of something." But Teacher Lim was also helpless. "I'm just a mere E-rank awakener." But in the next second, the figure of an infected hunter appeared on the opposite building. He suddenly stomped on the ground with great force. With a burst of speed, he rushed towards Sung Suho's side. Seeing this, the students were so scared that they didn't know what to do for a moment. But Sung Suho reacted immediately and shouted a reminder, "Run for your lives!" But while escaping, he found a classmate whose legs had gone weak with fear, just repeatedly begging Sung Suho to save her. But Sung Suho immediately thought of the hunters, and only hunters could save her. But in an instant, Sung Suho's heart was filled with unwillingness. Leaving her behind would only lead to death. But what could Sung Suho, a non-awakener, do? This damn non-awakener, what can simply complaining change? Let's think about what can be done. Sung Suho. If Dad were here, what would he do at this moment? His father's towering figure suddenly appeared in his mind. As the infected person was about to rush towards the girl, Sung Suho finally chose to act, because if Dad were here, he would definitely not stand by and watch. Suddenly, a crackling sound of electricity echoed in Sung Suho's mind. Notification: you have met the completion requirements for the secret quest Courage of the Weak. At this moment, Sung Suho suddenly remembered a dream he had before. A dream like a game. Each level, the monsters would become stronger, and in order to defeat them, Sung Suho had to constantly level up. Because when he encountered strong monsters, Sung Suho had to become even stronger than them. After countless challenges, Sung Suho finally reached the last floor, where he met the final boss. Although he was an enemy, his strength made Sung Suho envious, and even generated a sense of respect. But for some reason, the boss suddenly touched Sung Suho's forehead and asked, "Was the game fun?" Hearing this, Sung Suho looked confused. Game? And how was this person in front of him so familiar? Dad! He should be my dad! Sung Suho felt that the person who appeared in his dream was possibly his dad, as Sung Suho saw him in his heart, a strong and very steady dad. But how did he become so strong? So Dad, at this difficult moment, if it were you, you would probably do the same as I am doing now, right? So what should I do now? Sung Suho had heard that even if an awakener without magical power attacked, they could not harm magical beasts. But then, Sung Suho suddenly realized, could all of this in front of me be my doing? Was this magical beast really defeated by me? But in the next second, Sung Suho was surprised to find that time had suddenly stopped for some reason. At this moment, a dialogue box suddenly appeared in front of Sung Suho. You have met the completion requirements for the secret quest Courage of the Weak, and you have obtained player qualifications. Do you accept? Moreover, the scene before him was exactly the same as in Sung Suho's previous dream. If all of this was true, in this desperate situation, what reason would Sung Suho have to refuse it? So Sung Suho chose to accept without hesitation. As a golden light suddenly flashed before his eyes, the system chimed, "Welcome player, quest rewards, secret quest, Courage of the Weak, Archmage Candiara's blessing. He has prepared a special gift for you. With Candiara's blessing, you will have a healthy and unharmed life. Quest reward description: continuous effect of health and longevity, immunity to all diseases, toxins, and abnormal statuses. When in a sleep state, regeneration ability will be greatly enhanced. This system will assist the player in growing. This is not a fantasy. Life is only once, cherish it. Name, Sung Soo-ho. Level, E rank, strength, stamina, agility, intelligence, perception are all 10. Active skill, ruler's authority. Is this my game status? At this moment the system sent a new quest. Annihilate the mysterious flame beast and level up. Meanwhile, time resumed its flow. Seeing this, Sung Soo-ho quickly reminded the girl next to him to run. While running, Sung Soo-ho also noticed from the names above the heads of these magical beasts that his opponents were 2 infected non-awakeners and 1 hunter. So could Sung Soo-ho assume that, if Sung Soo-ho had truly succeeded in awakening, and just like the game in his dream, then he could now easily kill these infected people in front of him. So Sung Soo-ho immediately clenched his fist tightly. With just a casual punch, he sent the unawakened infected person in front of him directly crashing into the ceiling. Just as Sung Soo-ho had imagined, the system also simultaneously sent a notification. You have successfully killed an unawakened infected person, and with just 1 punch. So Sung Soo-ho rushed towards the other unawakened infected person without hesitation. He delivered a flying kick to the unawakened magical beast. Notification: you have killed an unawakened infected person. At this moment, Sung Soo-ho also leveled up to level 2. But then the system sent a new quest. Annihilate the mysterious flame beast and level up. And the rewards from the previous round have also been sent. Now Sung Soo-ho could finally be sure. It turns out he really did awaken. Then he directly threw a punch at the awakened infected person. But then, Sung Soo-ho was surprised to find that this guy didn't die. And he even took the opportunity to attack Sung Soo-ho. One move directly tore open Sung Soo-ho's chest. Seeing this, Sung Soo-ho immediately stomped on the ground, cracking it, and then kicked the awakened infected person into the air. Then he checked his injuries. Damn it, in the game, once you get injured, you'll be infected. Am I going to turn into a magical beast just after awakening? But at this moment, the system suddenly sent a notification, detected abnormal status that damages the soul, and successfully triggered health and longevity. Abnormal status has been removed. As soon as the words fell, Sung Soo-ho's wound healed rapidly at a visible speed. It was only then that he remembered seeing the health and longevity effect in the status window. If this is the case, then it proves that Sung Soo-ho is weaker than the infected D rank, so he should be E rank. I finally succeeded in awakening. Why bother about these ranks? But thinking about fighting, Sung Soo-ho couldn't win. He could only watch as the awakened infected person pounced towards him. But at this moment, the quest reward from the previous round suddenly appeared, so Sung Soo-ho chose to claim it without hesitation. Ability points +5, strength points +3. The reward came just in time, and his strength instantly reached 14 points. So Sung Soo-ho grabbed the awakened infected person's chest with one hand and punched his chest. Then he kicked him into the air. But in the next second, the awakened infected person stood up again instantly. So Sung Soo-ho grabbed his collar and punched him again. But Sung Soo-ho found that his attacks were like tickling to him. Even if he increased the strength in his hands again, he still couldn't inflict fatal damage on him. So he immediately made a decision in his heart. That is to add all the reward points to strength. Then he clenched his fists again. Awakeners who could constantly level up were unheard of to others. Because the level of an awakener is fixed at the moment of awakening. No awakener has ever been able to surpass their rank and become stronger. Although he doesn't know who determines whether a person awakens or the rank of an awakener. As long as he has the ability to break free from this damned structure, then Sung Soo-ho will do his best to change it, thus infinitely improving his ability. After successfully killing this awakened infected person, Sung Soo-ho's level also increased. He was already out of breath from exhaustion, sitting on the ground and constantly panting. Fortunately, Sung Soo-ho finally won. Now Sung Soo-ho is no longer a non-awakener. He now has power. The awakened Sung Soo-ho now has the ability to resolve this disaster. Meanwhile, the streets are filled with infected people. It seems the situation is not looking good. But in the next second, a flash of sword light flickered in Sung Soo-ho's eyes. It turned out to be a C-rank awakened mysterious flame beast, which rushed towards Sung Soo-ho with a burst of speed. And how will Sung Soo-ho respond next? Meanwhile, broadcasts were heard throughout the city. A dungeon break occurred at the National Academy of Fine Arts. Residents nearby are requested to evacuate quickly. At this moment, the soldiers muttered softly, "Damn it, we can only watch people die. When will the hunters sent by the Hunter Association arrive? I heard it takes time to dispatch B-rank or higher hunters. It's also possible that the hunters are infected." At the same time, the C-rank awakened infected person walked towards Sung Soo-ho, and this guy was also holding a weapon, clearly different from other mysterious flame beasts. However, after leveling up just now, there might be a slight chance of winning. But at this moment, the opponent's weapon swung over. Seeing this, Sung Soo-ho quickly dodged with a flash. He casually grabbed a fire extinguisher from the side. He threw it at the guy without hesitation, and the C-rank awakened infected person was startled for a moment. Then he sliced the fire extinguisher open with one slash. Immediately, the dry powder inside scattered out instantly. The entire room was filled with powder. Taking advantage of the poor visibility, Sung Soo-ho rushed out with a burst of speed. At this moment, he realized that he was no match for him at all. The ranks of Awakeners are indeed not for show. He doesn't know when the hunters will arrive. All he can do now is wait for their support. At this moment, strands of blue energy suddenly emerge from the eyes and mouth of the C-rank awakened infected person. Seeing this, Sung Soo-ho instantly realized that something was wrong. This guy was targeting the students upstairs. Several students immediately shivered. "Oh no, he's coming!" The C-rank awakened infected person instantly appeared in front of the students with a burst of speed. "I must not let this guy succeed!" Then, Sung Soo-ho followed closely. It seems that relying on hunters is out of the question. Sung Soo-ho has to find a way to solve this himself as soon as possible. "I have to stop this guy, otherwise the students will be in trouble." So he leaped up and stood with the C-rank awakened infected person. Even if one attack could take Sung Soo-ho's life, he absolutely could not let him get away. After a difficult struggle, he was stabbed in the chest by an air thrust when he wasn't paying attention, and blood spurted out of his body instantly. Then he coughed up a mouthful of blood. Then he fell to the ground, exhausted. He had only a little health left, so Sung Soo-ho looked at his chest. "Lucky me, perhaps the system doesn't want me to die yet." But just as the C-rank awakened infected person was about to finish off Sung Soo-ho, a crackling sound of electricity suddenly echoed in the air, and Sung Soo-ho was feeling drowsy at this moment. But as the crackling sound grew louder, in the next second it directly struck the tip of the C-rank awakener's sword. Instantly, a beam of white energy descended from the sky. Just as Sung Soo-ho was about to close his eyes and faint, the figure of a giant ant suddenly appeared before Sung Soo-ho's eyes. "I apologize, your subordinate has arrived late." With just a casual slash, the giant ant instantly cut off the arm of the C-rank awakened infected person. "So it was you, maggots, who dared to harm the noble body of the esteemed one. Then only death awaits you." With this one strike, it not only instantly killed the C-rank awakened infected person, but the shockwave also swept through the entire city. The soldiers in the distance were also completely terrified by this power. What is going on? After instantly killing the C-rank awakened infected person, the giant ant respectfully knelt beside Sung Soo-ho. "Long time no see. Your subordinate pays his respects." At this moment, scattered fragments of childhood memories suddenly flashed in Sung Soo-ho's mind. At that time, Sung Soo-ho was lying on the ground drawing something. Suddenly, a giant claw appeared in front of Sung Soo-ho. The monster picked up the drawing and looked at it. "Young Monarch, are you drawing me?" Speaking of this, the monster suddenly started crying. "Young Monarch, I am so touched." But in the next second, Sung Soo-ho suddenly woke up. What was that thing? At this moment, Sung Soo-ho realized that he was lying in bed. The monster that appeared in his mind just now was exactly the same as the ant Sung Soo-ho drew. Sung Soo-ho's phone suddenly rang. "Soo-ho, what kind of situation is this? Are you seriously injured? If not, how about your uncle gets you a few awakeners as bodyguards?" But Sung Soo-ho immediately refused his uncle's kind offer. Soon, the dungeon break incident made the news, attracting much attention from all sides because of the potential for mutation. First, they discovered the mysterious flame beast that could infect hunters and turn them into magical beasts. Second, this incident occurred in the city center, but the Hunter Association's support was late in arriving. Third, when the hunters arrived at the scene, all the mysterious flame beasts in the campus had been hunted down, and it is still unknown who did it. Watching the news on TV, Sung Soo-ho could finally be sure. He wasn't dreaming, he had truly awakened. And unlike ordinary awakeners, Sung Soo-ho could continuously level up and become stronger. But what puzzled him greatly was that he failed when fighting the C-rank awakened mysterious flame beast, so how did he survive? At this moment, a voice sounded from under Sung Soo-ho's bed. Sung Soo-ho was completely bewildered by this scene. "Long time no see." Beru greets the young monarch. Beru, seeing Sung Soo-ho again, burst into tears. "Young monarch, when did you become so handsome and charming?" Beru is truly moved. At this moment, countless fragments of childhood memories flashed through Sung Soo-ho's mind, as if they were pieced together again. His mind was filled with past memories. "I know this ant. It was one of the black life forms that lived with Sung Soo-ho when he was a child. Why did I forget all of this?" At this moment, Beru slowly said. Beru traveled from another dimension this time just to see the young monarch. To this, Sung Soo-ho was very confused. "Why did I live with these black life forms when I was a child? This is too strange, and in my memory, its size doesn't seem this small. This is all because Beru consumed too much energy traveling between dimensions, and its level has also been reset to E-rank soldier by the system. But Beru is still a powerful healer, and Sung Soo-ho's body recovered as before because of it. Beru's original purpose this time was to unseal Sung Soo-ho, but he didn't expect him to unseal himself. And those dreams you had were all things you personally experienced, and you were much stronger back then than you are now. However, the great shadow monarch Sung Jin-woo only hoped that the young monarch could live an ordinary life. Therefore, he sealed the young monarch's memories and power. Hearing about his father, Sung Soo-ho immediately went wild. "You are indeed related to my missing father. Tell me, where is he now? Hearing this, Beru slowly explained. To fight against the invaders of the world, the great shadow monarch is in the universe. Only then did Sung Suho understand that his father was silently protecting the world, and he is currently resisting the invasion of the outer god Itarim. They sent many messengers to invade our world. Beru also wiped out many enemies on the way to find the young monarch. It seems that the gates and magical beasts that appeared on Earth are also related to this war. By the way, where is my mother now? Hearing this, Beru thought for a moment. Then his entire body shook violently. How is this possible? The madam is missing? It's Itarim. It must be the apostles of Itarim who did it. Hearing this, Sung Suho instantly turned cold. So, my parents can't come back because of those guys called Itarim. Is that right? Do you know how I've lived all these years alone? No matter what, I will find my parents. Then there is only one way left. My king may not be able to come to Earth for a short time, so you can only wait for the young monarch to become stronger and personally search for the missing madam. Then the young monarch must quickly raise his level now. With that, the system chimed. Quest, Shadow Trial. You are the son of the great shadow monarch, but your innate power has been completely sealed. To activate this great power of yours, you need to prove yourself worthy. Please enter the Shadow Dungeon to prove yourself. This is the key to the Shadow Dungeon. Young monarch, insert the key into your shadow. As Sung Suho slowly inserted the key, a click was heard. A familiar surge of immense energy appeared before Sung Suho's eyes. Young monarch, go in and retrieve the power that originally belonged to you. Sung Suho still found it hard to believe. What universe? What war between gods and gods? What the great shadow monarch? To the current Sung Suho, these were all fantasies. But then again, if becoming stronger could lead to seeing his parents. No matter how difficult leveling up was, Sung Suho had to do it. At this moment, Beru recalled Sung Jinwoo's previous instructions. My king, Beru, will go to Earth to help the young monarch unseal himself. Now Itarim's invasion may have spread to Earth. Hearing this, Sung Jinwoo replied indifferently. Go, retrieve Sung Suho's power and memories. Let him protect Earth first, and you can decide the rest depending on the situation. Since my king has entrusted me with such a great responsibility, then I will never fail my king's expectations. Beru will continue to accompany the young monarch and watch him grow, just as he did with my king. Young monarch, this is the place. Without the master's permission, living beings cannot set foot in the land of the dead, the Shadow Dungeon. Rather than a shadow dungeon, it's more like a ghost town. But for some reason, Sung Suho felt a strange sense of familiarity upon entering this place. At this moment, the system suddenly chimed again with a quest. Survival. The residents of the Shadow Dungeon will not recognize the weak as inhabitants of this land. Please survive within the time limit and prove your worth. Time limit, 4 hours. Young monarch, you must survive here for 4 hours. Please be vigilant at all times. The trial is about to begin. Young monarch, please prepare yourself. As soon as the words fell, a monster holding a giant axe above its head pounced towards Sung Suho. Seeing this, Sung Suho quickly propped himself up with one hand and kicked the monster's abdomen with a flying kick, and kicked it directly to the ground. He looked and saw that it was a green orc scout. If it's a scout, there might be other green orcs nearby. He must deal with it before reinforcements arrive. Beru nearby reminded him that, although green orcs are very weak magical beasts, you must not underestimate them like this. But Sung Suho could tell at a glance that its name had no color, indicating that its strength was similar to or weaker than Sung Suho's. Therefore, Sung Suho did not hesitate to deliver a hand chop, and took the opportunity to snatch the stone axe from the green orc's hand. Then he chopped it on its head with the axe, and instantly killed it on the spot. Then Sung Suho smiled slightly. Just as Sung Suho guessed, the names of opponents stronger than Sung Suho have colors. But in the next second, Sung Suho was surprised to find that another green orc had appeared on the lamppost ahead and blown the horn to summon its companions. Seeing this, Sung Suho thought to himself, damn it, this will definitely attract more scouts. Soon, a pattering sound came from a distance. They arrived faster than Sung Suho expected. There were green orc centurions with white names, and even green orc captains with yellow names, so Sung Suho pointed helplessly. Beru, you'll help me, right? But Beru immediately refused his request. This is the young monarch's trial, therefore the young monarch can only rely on himself. After hearing Beru's answer, Sung Suho felt a little helpless. It seems I can only rely on myself. Let's try that first. With that, he directly chopped the magical beast on the head with an axe. The skill displayed on the status window was like an invisible hand, and could affect things without consuming mana or physical contact. In an instant of thought, Sung Suho grabbed a flying arrow that was shot at him. He didn't expect there would be green orc archers. But this was exactly what Sung Suho wanted. He would use their own methods against them. He immediately shot an arrow that pierced the green orc archer's head. Even Beru nearby exclaimed, "The young monarch's adaptability is too strong." Young monarch's childhood was like that of a mythical hero. He was extraordinary from the moment he was born. He also perfectly inherited the monarch's power of domination, and could even skillfully wield it. But that power was meant for destruction, only causing trouble in a peaceful world. But now Earth is under attack from Itarim. Young Monarch's power finally has a purpose. At the same time, Sung Suho's level also increased. Unexpectedly, the power of domination can lift objects weighing around 10 kilograms. But just then, a green demon suddenly ambushed Sung Suho from behind. Sung Suho had no time to react. The green demon that succeeded in the sneak attack laughed triumphantly. Sung Suho, in pain, turned around and punched it in the face. Seeing this, Beru, who was standing nearby, asked, "Young Monarch, are you alright?" But Sung Suho just bent down and pulled out the axe from his body. Immediately after, a thick wave of killing intent erupted from him. Seeing this, the green demon centurion was instantly startled. But at this moment, Sung Suho was already full of fighting spirit and couldn't care about the pain in his body. He grabbed the axe and rushed towards the group of green demons. With a crack, he instantly finished off the leading green demon centurion. Compared to when he was powerless, Sung Suho felt that being alive was better. "Therefore, all you demons must die." After a period of intense fighting, the system dinged with a notification, "Skill acquired, resilience." His level also quickly increased. The ground was already covered with the corpses of green demons, and Sung Suho sat panting on an abandoned car, having completed the task within the time limit. Beru, standing nearby, patted Sung Suho. "Young Monarch, you are truly amazing." Beru knew that Young Monarch would definitely complete this trial. "You really didn't help when you said you wouldn't." Never mind him for now. Let's look at the mission rewards first. Congratulations on acquiring the runestone. Extract Shadow. Seeing this, Sung Suho quickly looked at Beru and asked, "Runestone? Using a runestone grants the skill called Extract Shadow?" "Yes, Young Monarch, but then again during the battle I gained a skill called Resilience. It seems that upon awakening, I not only got a leveling system but also gained skills. Compared to when he was an unawakened, he now felt like he was stacked with buffs. After leveling up, his injuries also healed. At this moment, Beru reminded him from the side. This leveling system is an improved version of the system the Monarch once used. It is a device to assist Young Monarch's stable growth. He originally thought Sung Suho was just an ordinary unawakened, but now he knows that Sung Suho is actually the strongest second-generation Shadow Monarch. Beru continued to explain from the side. Extract Shadow is a skill that turns corpses into soldiers. This is also the skill that made the great Shadow Monarch who he is today, the essence of Liege Sung Jinwoo. Hearing this, Sung Suho wondered. Like a necromancer? But to control corpses, you must first hunt magical beasts, which means you can only control magical beasts weaker than Sung Suho. He had heard that summoning-type skills were not well regarded in the hunter world, but the current Sung Suho couldn't care less about that. He used the Extract Shadow skill on a green demon corpse. But I need to set a command word for the skill. It's really troublesome to use. After thinking for a moment, Beru nearby couldn't help but remind him, "Young Monarch, the command word should be as intuitive as possible." With that, Beru became nervous. But Sung Suho had already thought of a command word. Then Sung Suho waved his big hand forward. "Arise." As Sung Suho's voice fell, the green demon corpse on the ground suddenly began to move with a whoosh. In just the blink of an eye, several level 1 shadow green demons appeared before Sung Suho. Sung Suho was stunned by this. "Is this Extract Shadow? But it doesn't feel special at all," Beru quickly explained from the side. "Soldiers just extracted as shadows are weaker than when they were alive, and their bodies will be smaller. Also it says they will disappear after 1 day. Beru was very confused about this. How could this be? "Young Monarch, don't you have the skill to save shadows?" At this point, Beru began to look dejected. Perhaps the Shadow Authority is affected by intelligence points and level, but overall this will be a very useful skill, Young Monarch. Seeing this, Sung Suho quickly comforted him. "Got it, don't be so dejected, Beru." At this moment, Sung Suho suddenly realized, "I haven't eaten for 2 days. Let's leave here and eat something first. I didn't expect the hospital food to be so delicious." But Beru suddenly coughed a few times at this moment. "Young Monarch, Beru will now tell you what to do next. First, we have 3 tasks. The first is to protect Earth from invasion by magical beasts from other universes. So, you need to hunt more magical beasts to increase your level. This way, Young Monarch will become stronger. The second is to find the missing lady as soon as possible. And the clues can only be found from those magical beasts from other universes. This third task is the most important, which is to help me recover my strength. I don't want to be a foot soldier. I want Young Monarch to see my strength as a commander. I obtain the opponent's magic power and a part of their intelligence through consumption. Although this was the least efficient method used before becoming a shadow soldier, the Monarch cannot supply me with magic power now, so I can only choose this method, as long as I eat things with magic power." Hearing this, Sung Suho looked at Beru awkwardly. "After saying all this, we still have to go to the dungeon, right? Then let's prepare first." But Beru signaled to Sung Suho, "Young Monarch, don't rush into the dungeon yet. You must have a hunter qualification, Young Monarch. Go to the Hunter Association to measure your magic power first." Hearing this, Sung Suho pondered for a moment. I am an Awakeners who can level up. I wonder what rank I'll get. What should I do if I'm measured as S rank? But after the test, Sung Soo-ho's magic power value was only 46, and he was only an E rank Awakeners. Sung Soo-ho's heart was overwhelmed with frustration at this point. Seeing this, Beru quickly comforted him. As far as I know, a hunter's rank is divided based on magic power value, and what young Monarch mainly improves is strength points. So the measured rank will be much lower than your actual strength. Therefore, young Monarch, you don't need to be sad. Although that's what he said, whether it was Shadow Authority or level, could an E-rank Sung Soo-ho protect the Earth? Moreover, E-rank hunters are difficult to enter attack teams, and the current Sung Soo-ho has trouble even entering dungeons. At this moment, Sung Soo-ho suddenly remembered. Perhaps there's another way. There is a clear division of labor for raiding dungeons, with the raiding dungeon being the attack team. Behind them is the recovery team that collects the corpses of magical beasts. And at the very back is the mining team that extracts resources from the dungeon, and the recovery team and mining team accept E-rank hunters. That is to say, even if young Monarch is an E-rank hunter, he can still enter the dungeon. Soon, Sung Soo-ho joined the mining team, and the one who introduced him was his former assistant instructor, Lim Do-gyun. But just when Sung Soo-ho was working enthusiastically, Lim Do-gyun suddenly bowed to Sung Soo-ho. I'm really sorry for what happened at school. At that time, I was the only Awakeners present, but I chose to escape out of fear. Seeing this, Sung Soo-ho just said awkwardly, It's all right, Teacher Lim. Aren't you also an E-rank Awakeners? And aren't you just following the rules? For E-rank Awakeners like us, seeing a magical beast means we can only run for our lives. Hearing that Sung Soo-ho was E-rank, Lim Do-gyun immediately questioned. You said you're also E-rank? Impossible. Absolutely impossible. Because Lim Do-gyun had seen Sung Soo-ho fight magical beasts before. Did I see it wrong? Lim Do-gyun could only talk to himself. It's already amazing for an E-rank to fight a magical beast and survive. But at this moment, Beru suddenly jumped out. You are right, young Monarch is very amazing. Seeing Beru, Lim Do-gyun was stunned for a few seconds. After reacting, he collapsed to the ground. Magical beast? Why is there a magical beast here? At this moment, the atmosphere on the field was very awkward. Why did you suddenly come out? Hearing this, Beru explained. Young Monarch is as weak as an ant larva now, so I have to stay with you at all times to feel at ease. Lim Do-gyun thought Sung Soo-ho had awakened as a summoning-type hunter. You're really lucky, I forgot to tell you. My skill is running. Sung Soo-ho followed up without thinking, no wonder you run so fast. Lim Do-gyun, upon hearing this, instantly felt disheartened. As expected of young Monarch, every word is soul-crushing. However, speaking of which, this is Sung Soo-ho's first time in a dungeon other than the Shadow Dungeon. The attack team should be hunting magical beasts up ahead now, right? This dungeon is really poor. So far, we've only found some wolf magical beasts, and wolf skins aren't worth much. Only occasionally will magic essence stones appear in some corpses, so we can only grit our teeth and keep going, but don't be too disappointed. Maybe there will be a surprise later. As he spoke, a team member made a discovery. Captain, come and take a look. This is clearly an ancient ruin. Everyone was very confused about this. Let's go out and ask for reinforcements first. But strangely, no trace of magical beasts was found here, so why would there be such a building? Maybe there's some treasure here. As he spoke, everyone discovered a giant sword stuck in the middle. No way? I didn't expect there to be treasure. And it's a weapon, which is really awesome. Although the bottom is not yet visible, it's clearly a weapon with a great history. Everyone move aside. Let me try. Saying that, he stepped forward and grabbed the great sword. But the moment he grabbed it, his entire expression suddenly twisted. What in the world is going on? Little did he know, in the moment he was pondering, countless yellow eyes suddenly opened in the darkness. But soon he pulled out the great sword. Seeing this, his teammates nearby breathed a sigh of relief. It seems there's no trap. But who would have thought that Kim Young-jun's entire body suddenly became ferocious? Without a word, he cut off his teammate's neck with a single sword strike. The teammates who witnessed this scene were instantly dumbfounded. But a deep voice suddenly came from Kim Young-jun's throat. Who dares to take the Monarch of Fangs' sword without permission? Then your only end is death. Meanwhile, the collection team seemed to have discovered something. Lim Do-gyun stared blankly at the scene before him, not expecting summoning beasts to have mining skills. Moreover, summoning beasts can usually only summon 1 or 2, but this guy actually summoned 3, plus the talking ghost makes it 4. Sung Soo-ho's power is a bit extraordinary. It's definitely not as simple as it looks on the surface. And Sung Soo-ho also realized the drawback of the skill at this moment. The upper limit of extracted shadows is only 3, and if you want to use extract shadow, you need corpses. But for now, it's good to let them do some physical work. Beru, you're right. Extract shadow is indeed a good skill. Hearing this, Beru looked helpless. You're using it for too trivial a task. Speaking of which, didn't you enter the dungeon to level up? But the Hunter Association regulations state that E-rank hunters cannot enter dungeons alone. Stay here and improve for a while, then test again before choosing to enter. Do you still remember the third task? Beru, that can also be completed here? At this moment, Beru also realized, you mean helping Sung Suho recover his strength, right? Yes. Didn't you say eating things with magic power would help? Aren't the magic stone fragments on the ground also have magic power? You can't help with mining anyway, so just quietly pick up the magic stones and eat them. But at this moment, Beru's eyes suddenly widened. Young Monarch, I just sensed the Monarch's presence. Hearing this, Sung Suho was immediately startled. The Monarch? Are you saying my dad? But he was immediately denied by Beru. No, it's a being of the Monarch level, there is more than one. If it were the Monarch, I would instantly recover my strength. While they were talking, they also discovered something unusual in front of them. This beast's aura is so strong. Look ahead, what is that? Everyone looked up and saw several pairs of red eyes. Oh no, magical beasts! How could so many magical beasts suddenly appear? Immediately, everyone on the field panicked, seeing that everyone was about to die at the mouth of the magical beasts. Fortunately, Sung Suho arrived in time after hearing the commotion. Run quickly, leave this to me. After everyone had left, Sung Suho activated his detection skill. Judging from the color of the names, they were orange, meaning they were similar to the D-rank mysterious flame beast he fought at the Fine Arts Institute. Sung Suho should be able to handle it himself. But the premise is that no one else can discover him. But at this moment, Lim Dogyan suddenly appeared. This time, I won't run away alone again. Sung Suho, I will stay and fight with you. Hearing this, Sung Suho turned back and glanced at him. Then help me when I'm in danger. Then Sung Suho had the green demons protect him and opened the system item inventory. The weapons collected in the Shadow Dungeon should be at least stronger than a pickaxe, right? Then he stomped on the ground fiercely and shot towards the group of magical beasts. He thrust an arrow directly into the mouth of the steel-fanged werewolf, instantly killing it on the spot. Lim Dogyan, who witnessed this scene, was instantly dumbfounded. How is this possible? And the Green Demon brothers watched excitedly from the side. At this moment, Sung Suho slowly uttered a command, "Arise." As he activated the skill, 2 more steel-fanged werewolves rushed over. Seeing this, Lim Dogyan nearby quickly reminded him, "Be careful." Little did he know, Sung Suho had already discovered the steel-fanged werewolf's intention and slashed directly into the werewolf's mouth with his sword. At the same time, the shadow extraction skill was activated, and the awakened shadow bit onto the mutated hunter's large shoulder. Beru was extremely happy to see this scene. Young Monarch is amazing. He mastered the combat method using shadow authority so quickly. Hearing this, Sung Suho slowly explained, extraction and summoning do not consume magic power. After magic power increases, the extraction limit will also increase, and perhaps I can even form a legion then. In that case, let's add one more. With another arise, a mass of black and blue mist slowly formed in front of Lim Dogyan. But when the green demons saw this scene, they were very dejected, only emitting awu sounds from their mouths. Boo-hoo, is Master going to abandon us? Following another arise, more shadow werewolves appeared out of thin air. Lim Dogyan was already shocked speechless by the scene before him. Sung Suho, your physical ability shouldn't be like this. And you also have the skill to summon magical beast corpses. Seeing this scene, Sung Suho was also very awkward. He was too excited just now. How should he explain it now? Well, I am indeed E-rank. At this moment, Lim Dogyan asked doubtfully, Suho, are you deliberately hiding your rank and cheating? But just then, the system suddenly dinged. Notification, you have a new task. There is a presence around you holding killing intent towards you. Please kill the opponent as soon as possible to ensure your safety. Number of targets to kill, 1. There is actually a task to kill an enemy. All the visible werewolves have been killed by Sung Suho, or Sung Suho immediately realized that there must be other enemies here. At this moment, a dark figure suddenly walked over. Seeing this, Lim Dogyan quickly walked over. Are you from the attack team? Great, we are finally saved. But Sung Suho immediately noticed something was wrong. Wait a minute. By the time Lim Dogyan realized it, it was already too late, because the person's attack had already arrived. Fortunately, Sung Suho reacted in the first instance. This prevented a tragedy from happening. Where's the hunter in that? Since when did it become popular for hunters to turn into magical beasts? Looking at the color of the name above the head, the redder the color, the more dangerous it is. Sung Suho had thoroughly experienced the power of red names at the Fine Arts Institute. Logically, he should take Lim Dogyan and escape immediately. But he learned from Beru that this guy had the Monarch's aura on him. But his strength is far from that of a real the Monarch, and Sung Suho is currently not this guy's opponent. But who am I? The only son of the great shadow monarch, Sung Jin-woo. Therefore, I must not flinch. The system is an auxiliary device to help me grow steadily. So since it gave me such a task, it means I have a chance of winning. If he wants to meet his parents sooner, Sung Suho must grow up quickly. Therefore, he must defeat this guy in front of him. Even after repeatedly experiencing unbearable trials, Sung Suho cannot choose to escape. Because Sung Suho has his father's blood flowing in him. Beru reminded from the side. This guy's main body is a sword. As long as you cut off his arm and separate him from the host, he won't be able to move. Seeing this, Sung Soo-ho hurriedly took control of the shadow werewolves and formed a siege against them. The shadow werewolf directly bit the mutated hunter's big shoulder with one bite. It turns out that shadow soldiers are spiritual bodies and can recover as long as magic power is injected into them. But as they fought, Sung Soo-ho found that the shadow werewolves were at a disadvantage. Beru explained from the side, "Of course, this is because young Monarch's magic power is still very weak." At this moment, the mutated hunter suddenly stopped his attack. "You ant, you dare to use the great shadow Monarch's power?" Hearing this, Sung Soo-ho was also stunned on the spot. Damn, he can even talk? But Beru on the side was unhappy. "Say that again, you damn bastard. How dare you say that the great shadow Monarch's bloodline is an ant?" The mutated hunter who heard this didn't get angry but laughed instead. "The great shadow Monarch's bloodline? I didn't expect to meet the enemy of the Monarch of Fangs here. Then get ready to go to hell." Seeing this, Sung Soo-ho calmly took out a stone axe. "In that case, let's test your strength first." With that, he directly engaged in battle with him. As expected of a monster with a red name, this level of confrontation is indeed nothing. Saying that, Sung Soo-ho looked at the weapons scattered around his feet. Then next, he can only win by quantity. Immediately, countless weapons rapidly stabbed towards the mutated hunter. Beru was also stunned to see this scene. This is the innate talent of the power of domination. But the Green Demon's weapons can only barely provide some support. After the support ends, there will be no way to counterattack. If we continue to delay, the chances of winning will become even smaller. To win, we must kill him with one blow. At this moment, the mutated hunter continued to speak. "Are you going to keep running away like a coward? It seems that the great Shadow Monarch is just a coward hiding behind his shadow soldiers." Hearing this, Sung Soo-ho was instantly enraged. Damn it, how can he involve my parents? But even so, Sung Soo-ho didn't have the courage to approach him. "If I were a little stronger." Sung Soo-ho suddenly recalled what Beru had said before. The reason why Sung Soo-ho's seal was lifted, but his strength did not recover. It turns out that what was sealed was Sung Soo-ho's strength as a youth, and what has recovered is his ability at that time. But if he could fully recover, he might even be able to contend with Itarim. However, that place is a dream, not reality. This will be a test of whether Sung Soo-ho can bear the ability, but regardless of the success or failure of the test, his physical progress will not disappear. Simply put, this is a game, but the experience of climbing the tower was not meaningless. At this moment, Sung Soo-ho also recalled the feeling and fighting spirit he had at that time, and clearly remembered the feeling. On the tower, Sung Soo-ho mainly used martial arts, but now he doesn't have equipment like metal gloves. Moreover, shadow soldiers are in a spiritual state, and only with sufficient magic power can they recover. I almost forgot, can't Beru transform at will? So now, Sung Soo-ho will temporarily treat the shadow werewolves as equipment he can use. So Sung Soo-ho quickly activated the shadow extraction skill, transformation. This skill can transform shadow soldiers at will. Now close quarters combat will not be a problem. With a boost from the metal ring gear, it's clear that Sung Soo-ho is no longer at a disadvantage in this battle. Beru was also stunned to see this scene. My goodness, young Monarch actually turned shadow soldiers into weapons. Having already surpassed the level limit, the great Shadow Monarch has reached the realm of controlling all shadows at will. However, young Monarch is just a beginner who has just learned shadow authority, but he has comprehended the next stage on his own, showing his wisdom in battle, and perfectly controlling the innate talent of the power of domination, and can also apply shadow authority flexibly. Young Monarch is truly a well-deserved prodigy. After a difficult struggle, Sung Soo-ho finally completed the task of killing the enemy. His level also increased as a result. This Awakeners did not die and was even saved by Sung Soo-ho. And through this battle, Sung Soo-ho gained a new combat method. Then let Sung Soo-ho check the reward for this task. Congratulations on receiving the reward rune stone, Whirlwind Slash. Active release requires 50 magic power. When wielding the sword, it can unleash whirlwind-like power, attacking multiple enemies at once. This skill is exactly the best reward Sung Soo-ho wanted, and Sung Soo-ho seems to have been born with this skill. Then let's try it with this great sword in front of me. But the consciousness of the Monarch of Fangs' great sword was very confused. Sung Soo-ho was not reconciled. He was defeated by the great Shadow Monarch's bloodline. But the battle is not over, human greed is endless. Come, the moment you reach out and pick me up, I will devour your entire physical body. But the moment Sung Soo-ho touched the great sword suddenly went crazy. Why is there no resistance at all to this person? I clearly inherited the authority of the Monarch of Fangs. Yet, there is a human I cannot dominate? But Sung Soo-ho didn't know that the great sword also had consciousness. Then let's test the power of this sword first. Immediately, he unleashed a whirlwind slash. Although using it once consumes all magic power, I have to say this sword is quite powerful. At this moment, Lim Dogyun suddenly woke up. What happened to me? Sung Suho replied awkwardly, Don't ask. Let's go out and talk later. You take care of him outside first. I'll go down and see if there are any survivors. Looking at Sung Suho's back, Lim Dogyun wondered, E rank and an awakeners with summoning skills. Should be the bottom of the bottom. But why is Suho so strong? Forget it, none of that matters. What's important now is that these people were all saved by Suho alone. Meanwhile, Sung Suho had returned to the dungeon. After killing a few magical beasts, Sung Suho's level also increased. There are quite a few magical beasts inside, this experience can't be wasted. But what puzzled Sung Suho was the sword. Great sword. Why did your attack power suddenly become weaker? The great sword was clearly a little angry. As the Monarch of Fang's weapon, why should I cooperate with you, the bloodline of the great Shadow Monarch? Beru, standing nearby, angrily tapped the sword's body. You are too despicable. Do you think you are very strong and look down on our young monarch? Didn't our young monarch defeat you? Listening to their conversation, Sung Suho looked helpless. A talking insect and a talking sword, it's really messy. But at this moment, he suddenly discovered something unusual. What's going on here? It seems there are awakeners in there. But then he found that all these people were already dead. The great sword on the side snorted coldly. Invaders who step into this place have only one path, death. It is my mission to protect the Monarch of Fang's sanctuary. Hearing this, Sung Suho grabbed it in his hand. Without a word, he plunged it into the ground. You're too noisy. Who knew that the next second, Sung Suho would surprisingly discover that he could extract the shadows of these awakeners' corpses. At this moment, Beru explained from the side, as long as it's a corpse, no matter what type of life form it is, your authority can turn it into a shadow soldier. Hearing this, Sung Suho slowly extended his right hand. He didn't choose to extract their shadows, but instead carried 2 corpses and walked outside. If awakeners have to continue fighting after death, isn't that a punishment for them? Beru, you said this place is the Monarch's sanctuary, right? Then what about the monarch that Dad killed? Is all of this related to Itarim? Hearing this, Beru slowly explained. Itarim is the liege's current enemy, and the various monarchs were the liege's former enemies. You can understand it that way. There are 9 monarchs in total. One of them is young monarch's father, Sung Jin-woo, the king of the undead, the great shadow monarch. Besides that, there are the king of beasts, the monarch of fangs, the queen of insects, the monarch of plagues, the king of monstrous humanoids, the monarch of the iron body, the king of demons, the monarch of white flames, the king of giants, the monarch of the beginning, the king of snowfolk, the monarch of frost, the king of demonic specters, the monarch of transfiguration. Finally, there is the king of berserk dragons, the monarch of destruction. The 9 monarchs all possess incredibly powerful strength, but the other 8 the monarchs died at the hands of the liege, including the owner of the great sword, the Monarch of Fangs. Hearing this, the great sword angrily said, If my power hadn't weakened, I would have surely torn you to shreds. But Sung Suho wore a look of disdain because he didn't understand at all. Dad killed the Monarch of Fangs to protect Earth, and you killed so many people to protect his sanctuary. You both made these choices because you were just trying to protect what you cherished, weren't you? But now, just because of blood relation, you're treating me as an enemy? You say protecting this place is your mission. You're treating someone that even the Monarch of Fangs couldn't defeat as an enemy. Aren't you foolish? Because of the invaders from other universes, I can't even see my parents. As long as I can achieve this goal, I don't care who I cooperate with. If Itarim invades Earth, this place will surely not be peaceful either. If you help me, I can also help you protect this place. So, do you want to seriously consider it now? How about cooperating with the bloodline of the great Shadow Monarch? We cooperate and work together against the outside world. Isn't that a win-win situation? Meanwhile, on Lim Dogyun's side, do you know what happened in the dungeon yesterday? Quickly tell me all about it, man. Hearing this, Lim Dogyun awkwardly pondered. Even if he is E rank, if his strength is recognized, then Suho's chances will be better, right? This is also a good opportunity to repay Suho's favor. Soon, this news became popular online. E-rank hunter saves hunters from the dungeon alone. The heroic deeds of the E-rank hunter bravely rushing towards magical beasts to save people, and interviews with the rescued survivors. Hyunmu Guild, 2nd Management Department. Should we recruit some porters? The recovery team is also clamoring for more personnel. We need to recruit more E-rank hunters. I'll send you a candidate, see what you think. Fought magical beasts in a D-rank dungeon, had the mining team evacuate and rescued injured hunters from the dungeon. As soon as these words were spoken, the office instantly erupted. How is that possible for an E-rank hunter? But Li Young-oh just smiled slightly. If a large guild like ours recruits him, he will definitely create a lot of buzz for publicity. Just an E-rank hero. I'll contact him right away. How is it? Did Hunter Sung Suho reply? He must be thrilled to receive the invitation. Who knew the assistant would look completely baffled? Well, he refused. How is that possible? He refused our Hyunmu Guild. An E-rank rookie refused a large guild like ours? What a joke. Hearing this, the assistant explained. He said he didn't want to join. He'll probably contact us again when he thinks it over. He should quickly realize that it's difficult to establish himself in the hunter world without joining a guild. In fact, not only the Hyunmu Guild but many other guilds are also inviting Sung Soo-ho to join. However, they are all inviting Sung Soo-ho to be a recovery agent or a porter. But the strange thing is, why are so many people contacting Sung Soo-ho? Joining a guild is not conducive to Sung Soo-ho's system growth and leveling up. Therefore, there is no need to join. But then again, Great Sword, let's talk about cooperation. But the Great Sword remained unmoved. How can you say something so absurd so easily? But, if the Shadow can become an ally with the Fangs instead of an enemy, it's not entirely impossible. But I have a condition. The Great Sword said unhurriedly, "Take me to another sanctuary of the Monarch of Fangs." Sung Soo-ho later learned from Beru that the Monarch of Fangs sanctuary, no matter how far away, the Great Sword could find it. But right after that, the Great Sword said it could sense that the entrance to this sanctuary had disappeared, which is what humans call a dungeon going out of control. Hearing this, Sung Soo-ho finally understood. This sanctuary had become a scenario dungeon. It was an uncontrolled transfer gate going haywire, becoming wasteland occupied by magical beasts. Before leaving, Sung Soo-ho first sent this information to his uncle. Then after getting ready, he prepared to head to the sanctuary. But upon reaching his destination, Sung Soo-ho was immediately dumbfounded. This situation was going to be difficult, because this happened to be territory belonging to the Hunters Guild, and trespassing on private property was illegal. Moreover, this guild called Hunting Dogs was composed of people with underworld backgrounds, so everyone inside was quite violent. Beru complained from the side, "We shouldn't have listened to this defeated subordinate. We should rely on leveling up to become stronger." But a second later, Beru asked in confusion, "Young Monarch, what are you planning to do?" Hearing this, Sung Soo-ho smiled slightly. "Nothing much, just preparing to go in." For dealing with surveillance cameras, Sung Soo-ho had his methods. With that said, he gathered power in his fist. Then with one punch, he shattered the security camera. This way, there shouldn't be any evidence left. They had barely entered when they discovered large patches of blue mist. "Are scenario dungeons always filled with such blue mist?" Beru quickly explained beside him. "This blue mist is magic from the outer universe. Someone forcibly broke through the dimensional wall, causing the world to crack. Therefore, the sanctuary entered the dimensional rift and later connected with Earth. The bastards from the outer universe want to create giant holes in the dimension and then send their armies through. But the stronger the magic, the greater the impact from dimensional movement." Hearing this, Sung Soo-ho smiled slightly. "Anyway, those powerful guys shouldn't come through so quickly, right? So we need to hurry and level up now." Just as he saw a horde of magical beasts charging toward them, the Great Sword began to vibrate violently. "It's time to show you my true power." Seeing this, Sung Soo-ho remained completely unconcerned. "I won't be using you as a weapon because I've already figured out my battle method." With that said, he launched himself toward the magical beast horde. The core is the combat style used in the tutorial. Then use the Sovereign's authority to assist with medium and long-range attacks, quickly switching weapons to catch them off guard. Saying this, Sung Soo-ho suddenly waved his large hand forward. And the most important point is using shadow extraction to collect equipment. This is Sung Soo-ho's new battle method. Even Beru was shocked. "Young Monarch, you're so cool." Seeing this scene, the Great Sword couldn't help but praise him. Is this the power possessed by the bloodline of the Great Shadow Monarch? The more opponents and the longer the battle, the stronger he would become through his undead. So the Great Sword's battle with Sung Soo-ho was destined to end in defeat. After Sung Soo-ho's intelligence points increased, the number of shadow soldiers he could control became 5. But at this point, Beru suddenly said, "Compared to the thousands of soldiers under the Great Monarch, this is nothing to speak of." But before he could finish, he got punched by Sung Soo-ho. "Beru, shut up!" Under the Great Sword's guidance, they soon arrived at their destination. Below was the transfer gate that previously led to the sanctuary. But even at midnight, there were still guards below. These people are really dedicated. But why stay here so late? Wouldn't it be better to hunt magical beasts during the day? Just then, an armored vehicle suddenly drove in. But when Sung Soo-ho saw what was happening, he was completely stunned. Those who got out of the car were all non-awakeners. "Little girl, stop screaming. Just serve the master well tonight." So Sung Soo-ho quietly asked, "Beru, what we're seeing is a kidnapping scene, right?" "Yes, young monarch. But we're currently trespassing illegally. To avoid complications, I suggest you don't get involved. If someone discovers us..." But before he could finish, Sung Soo-ho had already vanished without a trace. Seeing this, Beru was completely bewildered. Where did the young monarch go? Because his father was a detective in the violent crimes unit, and his grandfather was an outstanding firefighter. Under the influence of these two generations, Sung Soo-ho had completely inherited their habit of stepping in when witnessing injustice. Therefore, he absolutely could not stand by and watch this happen. Then he kicked the awakener squarely in the head. Seeing this, the Shadow Warriors were quite confused. "Master is too fierce," and the hunters from the Hunting Dogs Guild were completely exposed. "Who are you? How did you get in?" At this point, Sung Soo-ho finally realized, "Oh, I guess I was a bit impulsive. Trespassing into another guild's area is illegal. What should I do now? But Sung Suho quickly thought of a solution. Saying this, he put on a conjured mask. You dare to openly kidnap and extort people. Your Hunting Dogs Guild is truly audacious. But the Hunting Dogs Guild members retorted, Kid, I think you're the audacious one. Not only trespassing in others' territory, but daring to attack us. Are you tired of living? At this point, the leader waved his hand. Brothers, go kill him. But Sung Suho's current strength easily allowed him to dodge their attacks. The average member of the Hunting Dogs Guild was D rank, so to be safe, he should use less power. Soon, several people were beaten down by Sung Suho. Even Beru had a look of disbelief. Young Monarch is so strong now, he can easily defeat D rank Awakeners. This victory was too easy. Soon, the Hunting Dogs Guild members were tied up together. Seeing this, Beru immediately started flattering nonstop. Young Monarch, you handled that so cleanly. The rescued civilians also hurried forward to express gratitude. Are you a hunter from the Hunters Association? Thank you for saving us. After sending everyone away, Sung Suho looked puzzled. Why would the Hunting Dogs Guild kidnap ordinary people? Hearing this, the great sword indicated it sensed a faint aura. This was also the reason Sung Suho had come here. But when Sung Suho opened the warehouse door, he was directly dumbfounded. Is this place used to detain people? Beru was also surprised. This faint aura, could it be? When Sung Suho looked into the cell, inside lay a dog breathing heavily. For this, Sung Suho was very confused. Why would they lock up a dog too? What does the Hunting Dogs Guild want to do? At this moment, the great sword suddenly said in Sung Suho's ear, It's not a dog, but a wolf cub, a descendant of the King of Beasts, the Monarch of Fangs. When the Monarch of Fangs was defeated by your father, before dying he assigned a guardian for his descendants and had them hide in the sanctuary. Because he firmly believed that as long as the bloodline continued, another Monarch of Fangs would emerge. But to be honest, I don't hope for another Monarch of Fangs to be born. I just hope his bloodline can continue. And I sense a faint aura of the Monarch of Fangs from this wolf cub. But he's very weak now, and will be in danger if he stays here any longer. How to place this little one is now a difficult problem. But while Sung Suho was deep in thought, a black shadow suddenly appeared behind him. Hadn't all the people outside been beaten by Sung Suho? How could there still be stragglers? But when Sung Suho looked carefully, this was no straggler at all. This was clearly a powerful magical beast. At this point, the great sword suddenly spoke. Brokey, so you're still alive. He is the guardian of the wolf cub I mentioned earlier. Hearing this, Brokey responded, Long time no see, great sword, so you're still alive too. At this point, the trembling sword body questioned, Brokey, have you forgotten your mission? Is this how you protect him? Hearing this, Brokey snorted coldly. How could I? With that, he charged towards Sung Suho. Human, you dare touch what's mine. Seeing this, Sung Suho thought, This is bad. This guy is so fast. Before Sung Suho could react, huge wolf claws stabbed toward him. Instantly, a violent explosion sounded in the scene. Seeing this, Beru hurriedly exclaimed, Young Monarch, be careful! After the dust settled, Sung Suho's entire body had been blasted out of the warehouse. This Brokey's attack was really too strong. This was the most painful hit he had taken recently. Beru, stop shouting. If you shout anymore, Sung Suho's head will be buzzing. But he also gained from this misfortune. His impact resistance improved, and his defense increased from 20% to 40%. At this point, Beru suddenly reminded, Young Monarch, I know now. I noticed a faint aura earlier and now I can confirm what it is. It's Itarim. He has Itarim's aura on him. At this point, the great sword suddenly blocked in front of Brokey. Do you know what you're doing to the monarch's descendant? Brokey stated. I'm very clear. But do you know how I maintained these powers after losing the sanctuary? Hearing this, the great sword said it didn't know. The victor becomes king and the loser becomes prisoner. The weak survive at the mercy of the strong, with the weak providing nutrients for the strong. This is the unchanging natural law. Although he is weak now, he is still the bloodline of the Monarch of Fangs. So he is my best supplement. So I periodically drank the blood of the monarch's bloodline. Great sword, you're dead today. What right does a useless person who can only exert power through others have to point fingers at me? The monarch's death is the best evidence that he was weak. I who survived am the true strong one. Only I am qualified to inherit the power of the Monarch of Fangs. Saying this, he was about to attack the great sword. But just then, a flash of swordlight suddenly appeared, and the wolf cub was protected by Beru at the side. After the swordlight and wolf fangs clashed several times, even Brokey was a bit dazed for a moment. He then realized it was Sung Suho who had blocked his attack with the great sword. Then Sung Suho slowly said, Enough, Brokey. The great sword seems angry too. Next, let you witness the first cooperation between the great Shadow Monarch and the Monarch of Fangs. Itarim, Sung Suho has finally found clues about his father. Hearing this, Brokey was immediately enraged. Human maggot! You're making me furious! You're dead today! But just then, the system sent an urgent mission, kill the hunting dog Brokey to ensure safety. Regarding the powerful Brokey, Sung Suho did not retreat. No wonder they're called the Hunting Dogs Guild. But what's strange is, how would a magical beast establish a guild? And use the guild to kidnap people? Could all this be related to Itarim? At this point, the guild members behind Brokey pleaded, "Mr. Brokey, can you untie us first? The guy in front of you is tough, let us help you." Hearing this, Brokey just contemptuously glanced back at them. Then without a word, he opened his huge mouth and bit down on their heads. Instantly, with a crunch, several lackeys of the Hunting Dogs Guild died instantly. Seeing this, Sung Suho was also shocked. This guy is so cruel he even eats his own people? At this point, Brokey slowly continued, "Dealing with such small characters, I don't need your help. Confused people should just be eaten." Seeing this, Sung Suho couldn't stand it anymore and without another word, swung his sword at him. But Brokey gripped the great sword with just one hand. However, Sung Suho's character wouldn't allow himself to have the slightest thought of retreat. "Damn, Brokey, you killed him just for this reason?" But Brokey still looked disdainful. "The life and death of the weak are in the hands of the strong. The strong do what they want to do. Do they need any reason?" But Sung Suho couldn't agree with Brokey's view. Following this, he swung his sword again. But Brokey's speed was really too fast, even creating multiple shadow clones, easily repelling Sung Suho's attack. Then Brokey stomped on the ground, shattering it, and with a burst charged at Sung Suho. Seeing this, Sung Suho was not panicked at all. He countered with a whirlwind slash, but Brokey just stretched out his wolf claws and easily blocked Sung Suho's attack. He even mocked Sung Suho. "Maggot, is this all you've got? The Monarch of Fang's lifetime reputation will be ruined by you." Little did he know that Sung Suho took advantage of his momentary distraction while speaking to stab him in the back with a sneak attack. "Brokey, you underestimated me too much. The battle has just begun." With that, he twisted the sword body and began to spin frantically. At this point, the angry great sword also sternly questioned, "Brokey, why have you become like this? You who once swore to be loyal to the Monarch of Fangs, have you forgotten your mission?" Hearing this, Brokey suddenly thought of the monarch he once worshipped. "I think you're mistaken. Back then, I only submitted to the monarch's powerful strength. I won't live the life of a weakling anymore. You'd better worry about yourself." Stinking maggot! While speaking, he launched a fierce attack at Sung Suho, directly breaking the blade of the great sword. As a result, Sung Suho also received fatal damage. "It hurts! It feels like all the bones in my body are about to fall apart." But thinking of his father fighting in places he couldn't see, even facing greater difficulties, Sung Suho couldn't give up. Thinking of his father, Sung Suho's body was instantly filled with strength. "Before seeing my parents, no one can possibly defeat Sung Suho." Saying this, with one punch he pierced straight through Brokey's body. Seeing this, Baru exclaimed from the side, "Young Monarch!" But at this moment the great sword also instantly realized. That power was leaking from the broken sword. "Is this how I'll disappear? The survival of the wolf cub and Fang's future? I didn't expect to leave it all to Sung Suho alone. I still want to continue fighting." But just as the consciousness of the broken sword was about to disappear, the little wolf suddenly rushed over snorting. Seeing this, Baru immediately understood. I see he was moved by Sung Suho's persistent fighting spirit. At this point, the great sword had only a trace of consciousness left. "I thought of the last thing I can do, to leave all my remaining power unreservedly to the descendant of the monarch." After the wolf cub absorbed the power of the broken sword, it howled to the sky. Meanwhile, Sung Suho's battle was clearly not going well. He was blasted away by Brokey again, but Sung Suho still didn't show any discouragement. His whole body panted heavily, and he stood up again using all his strength. And his health points were only 21 left. He thought he had improved quite a bit. But facing a powerful opponent like Brokey, Sung Suho had no possibility of winning at all. Could Sung Suho really not defeat him? Brokey gave Sung Suho no chance to catch his breath, and with a burst he lunged to bite him. At this critical moment, the wolf cub suddenly flew out and bit Brokey's body. Seeing this, Sung Suho was completely bewildered. What's going on? But until Sung Suho saw the mark on Brokey's body, and that black hole wound on him, Sung Suho finally realized that this little guy was trying to help him. The wolf cub kept growling at Brokey. At this point, the system also sent a prompt: Fang's descendant pays respect to the player's fighting spirit. Do you agree to let Fang's descendant become your companion? Fang's descendant? Could this guy be that wolf cub from just now? At this point, Brokey also realized, you are the descendant of the Monarch of Fangs. You didn't absorb that great sword's magic, did you? Hearing this, Sung Suho finally understood, so the great sword sacrificed itself and gave its magic to the wolf cub. Anyway, Sung Suho had planned to cooperate with Fang earlier, so there was no reason to refuse. Congratulations, Fang's descendant has become your companion. But just as Sung Suho received the system prompt, something seemed to enter Sung Suho's consciousness. Brokey was seen saying to the young wolf cub, the Monarch of Fangs lost. He completely lost to the great Shadow Monarch. This is a world where the strong eat the weak, and as losers we will lose a lot. For the Fang lineage to rise again, little one, you must become stronger. Saying this, he affectionately stroked the cub's forehead. You must not disappoint your father's expectations for you. Then unbearable memories continued. Brokey was seen fearfully kneeling before several humans, with the wolf cub trembling behind him. Brokey asked, "Who are you? Why don't you kill me?" But the lead woman gently picked up the wolf cub. "This magical beast looks quite useful, and this level is completely enough, so I'll choose him." Saying this, she took out a yellow ornament and slowly brought it close to Brokey's eye. Seeing this, the wolf cub was so anxious that he started crying, but could only watch helplessly from the side. At this point, the woman continued, "Hunting dog Brokey, from now on your mission is to capture humans and offer them to us. The gold ornament just implanted in your eye can enhance your power and help you. Of course, how much it enhances depends on the individual." Seeing this, the wolf cub's tears flowed uncontrollably. At this point, Brokey turned dark. Sometimes he was filled with that desire to twist people. Now Sung Soo-ho understood Brokey and the wolf cub's painful experience. Those bad guys who implanted crystals in Brokey's eyes. Could they be directly related to Itarim? Or are they the culprits behind this Earth incident? So the wolf cub wasn't trying to get revenge on Brokey earlier. The wolf cub's purpose was to stop the out-of-control Brokey. If this is related to those bad guys' plans, then Sung Soo-ho must defeat Brokey, but with his current power alone, he simply can't do it. But just then, the system sent a new mission, the Monarch's Descendant. Please find the Monarch's Descendants and make them your companions. Monarch Descendants who have become companions 1 to 8. Due to the bond with Fang's Descendant, a bond skill was triggered. The next second, Sung Soo-ho was filled with endless power. With a boom, a violent explosion sounded at the location where Sung Soo-ho and the wolf cub were. Seeing this, Beru exclaimed from the side, "Unlike the Monarch, strange changes have occurred in the young Monarch." But just then, Brokey suddenly stomped on the ground, shattering it. "Although I don't know what happened between you two, I absolutely won't let you succeed." With that, Brokey directly pounced towards Sung Soo-ho. Instantly, waves of violent shockwaves blasted out. But after the dust settled, Brokey discovered a pair of slender hands on his body, while his hair was snow-white in color. This was the new skill triggered by the bond between Sung Soo-ho and the wolf cub. Bond skill, Beast Possession. Let Fang's Descendant possess and strengthen physical abilities, giving him beast-like developed senses. Brokey realized at this point, could it be that Fang's Descendant was absorbed? Then I can't let you live! But now Sung Soo-ho's reaction speed was extremely fast, and with a casual flash, he dodged Brokey's attack. He could feel his senses were also more sensitive, and could anticipate the best routes to avoid danger in advance, making him handle fighting Brokey with ease. Brokey also sensed the changes in Sung Soo-ho. How is this possible? Is this still the same little brat from before? Sung Soo-ho absolutely cannot lose. If he loses, everything is gone. With that, Brokey launched an even more fierce attack on Sung Soo-ho, but Sung Soo-ho could now handle it easily. Beru also noticed the changes in Sung Soo-ho. The magic in the young monarch has been amplified. The battle-weary Brokey angrily said, "Although I don't know what tricks you've played, I absolutely cannot lose to humans. After all, what determines strength is species. Therefore, you are destined to lose. If there's anyone to blame, blame yourself for being a low-level human. Die, lowly insect." Little did he know that in the battle with him, Sung Soo-ho had mastered a new combat skill that could add 33% damage when attacking, and it didn't even consume his mana. Regarding Brokey's remarks, even Beru looked disdainful. "You dare mention species differences in front of the young monarch? Who could be more noble than the bloodline of the great shadow monarch standing at the peak?" Hearing this, Brokey was shocked on the spot. "You mean, he is the descendant of the great shadow monarch?" But he knew it too late. Under Sung Soo-ho's full power attack, Brokey was immediately blasted into the ground by Sung Soo-ho. And Sung Soo-ho's body also began to change. His hair instantly returned to black. Exhausted, Sung Soo-ho could only pant heavily. The wolf cub also turned gray and slowly walked toward Brokey. But Brokey's mouth still murmured, "I must get stronger. I must become stronger." But as the wolf cub licked Brokey's head, the crystal in Brokey's eye suddenly shattered. "Ah, I remember now. The reason why I must become powerful." At this point, he recalled the monarch of Fang's dying words. "Monarch, I'm too useless, I couldn't protect your..." But before he could finish, he lost all movement. The wolf cub howled to the sky. It was over. Brokey was dead. The wolf cub stood dejectedly at the side, quietly looking at Brokey's body. At this point, Sung Soo-ho asked Beru nearby, "You mentioned earlier that you sensed Itarim's aura from Brokey, right? I saw fragments of his memory from the wolf cub." Hunters entered Brokey's dungeon and embedded some kind of crystal in his eye. Could they be Itarim's people? Then why did they attack Brokey? Hearing this, Beru responded, "They probably aren't Itarim. Outer gods generally don't act personally. They all intervene in cause and effect through apostles, but their actions must be related to invading Earth. This indicates Itarim is already on Earth. It would be good if there were more clues. It would be unfortunate if Itarim's trail ended here." Beru indicated it had a solution. Brokey definitely has memories related to Itarim. If I eat his corpse, I can see his previous memories and also restore my magic power. Isn't that killing two birds with one stone? Hearing this, Sung Soo-ho was stunned. "You actually have such an incredible ability." But when Sung Soo-ho saw the wolf cub looking dejected, Brokey's death was a big blow to him, and this little guy's mood must be very downcast right now. So Sung Soo-ho squatted beside him and indicated that he could come along. I want to take you somewhere. Hearing this, the wolf cub pondered for a moment, and Sung Soo-ho quietly waited for his response. Suddenly, the wolf cub started licking Sung Soo-ho's face. He agreed. So Sung Soo-ho immediately took out the key to the shadow dungeon. Beru, then I'll leave the rest to you. After that, they entered the shadow dungeon again. Beru asked puzzled, why not go home? Hearing this, Sung Soo-ho smiled slightly. I want to arrange a place for the little guy here. After all, I've already teamed up with Fang. At this point, the system suddenly sent a prompt. It turned out the wolf cub wanted Sung Soo-ho to give him a name. Without hesitation, Sung Soo-ho named him Gray based on his fur color. Beru muttered on the side that his naming level was about the same as the Monarch's. Hearing the name Gray, the wolf cub immediately howled. Relationship, companion, trust level, respectful. From now on, this forest is your domain, Gray, and Sung Soo-ho also became Gray's master. I wonder what Gray usually eats. He's of the saber-toothed bloodline, so he very likely eats living beings or magical beasts. That's really great. There are still many magical beasts here that haven't been dealt with, which can be left to Gray to handle. Hearing magical beasts, Gray immediately howled excitedly. Without another word, he bit into a green troll, immediately biting through its throat. I didn't expect Gray's actions to be so clean and efficient. Well, let Gray show his full capabilities. And somehow, Sung Soo-ho completed a wolf slayer task. Isn't Brokey a hunting dog? But Beru indicated that Sung Soo-ho shouldn't worry about these details. What's important is the task of finding the Monarch's descendants. The Monarch system doesn't have such a task. I heard that the upgrade system prepared for the young Monarch is an improved system by the Monarch, eliminating the evils originally in the system. The system's goal at that time was to forcibly make the Monarch grow personally, to make him a puppet of the Great Shadow Monarch. There were plots of the designer contained within. Once this goal was achieved, Monarch Sung Jinwoo's soul would vanish. But the Monarch, by his own power, defied the system's goal and made himself the Great Shadow Monarch, becoming a great existence that didn't need to upgrade. Hearing this, Sung Soo-ho couldn't help but wonder, then is the goal of my system also to make me the Great Shadow Monarch? Beru indicated, no, there's only one Great Shadow Monarch in the world. The system will serve as a guide based on the young Monarch's growth direction. If new functions appear, they must be helpful to the young Monarch. Hearing this, Sung Soo-ho immediately opened his status window. After listening to what Beru said, I seem to understand why my profession is still none. I guess my level 1 values when being chased by the mysterious fire beast have increased a lot now, and I already have so many skills I can use, but Sung Soo-ho still feels he's quite weak. Just like this time, without the bond skill with Gray, he might not have been able to defeat Brokey. Well, let's complete the mission first. Maybe completing the mission will let me see my parents. Oh, right. Beru, didn't you find clues about Itarim in Brokey's memories? Beru indicated, I also saw that memory. The Itarim who brainwashed Brokey doesn't have much to do with us. Saying this, Beru paused. But I saw someone help Brokey establish the Hunting Dogs Guild, recovering memories of those kidnapped. That guild's name is Death. If we investigate this guild properly, we'll definitely find more clues about Itarim. Lim Taegyu, what did you call me for? Weren't you supporting Southeast Asia? Don't change the subject with me, Lee Min-sung. Was this Hunting Dogs incident you're doing? I've already traced your financial transactions with the Hunting Dogs Guild. The association will hold you accountable sooner or later. By then, even if the law can't punish you, the association's chairman is not someone to be trifled with. You'd better clean up the mess before I get back. With that, Lim Taegyu hung up the phone. Used to be just my driver, but now after becoming S-rank, he thinks he's above everyone? Thinking of this, Lee Min-sung directly smashed the coffee table. Who defeated Brokey and destroyed the Hunting Dogs Guild? The survivors only provided pitiful information, just saying it was a young hunter wearing a black mask. There's no need to spend time looking for someone who can't be found. The most important thing now is this. Saying this, he took out a silver pearl. Hunter Awakening Agent, Stardust. As long as this project succeeds, no one will look down on me again. Meanwhile, Gray was hunting magical beasts. Beru reminded him, your battle power is good now. You need to work harder to improve yourself in the future so you can better assist the young Monarch. But then, he was surprised to find that Gray's calls had changed to small roars, though fortunately he was adapting well. And his experience points could be transferred to Sung Soo-ho, although only half the experience. But for him, that was also good. I didn't expect the system to have such a function, but it seems different from how Father obtained experience points back then. This is like the team experience sharing mechanism in games. Anyway, let Gray continue hunting magical beasts. Then Sung Soo-ho opened his status window again. Due to killing a certain number of magical beasts, a new task was triggered. It turned out to be a daily task to clear magical beasts from the Shadow Dungeon. What the hell is this crappy task? It actually wants me to catch green demons? But for this daily task, do I get rewards every day? Beru indicated. The system has completely turned this place into the young Monarch's domain. You want me to find 100 green demons in such a large place? At this point, Sung Suho remembered the backpack he was carrying. He happened to have a horn used by centurions to summon subordinates. This was an item obtained from catching demons last time. After using it, nearby green demons could be summoned. Soon, the footsteps of several green demons approached, and they rushed towards Sung Suho first. Seeing this, Sung Suho just smiled slightly. Just as I expected, I should also stretch my muscles a bit. So he gathered power in his right hand. Without another word, he charged toward the green demon horde. With just one attack, Sung Suho killed dozens of green demons. Now, green demons no longer posed any challenge to Sung Suho. But if he wanted to catch a large number of green demons, he would have to continue using the horn's function. Looking at the ground full of green demon corpses, Sung Suho waved his hand. Arise! With Gray assisting at the side. The task of clearing the shadow dungeon was soon completed, and Gray was so exhausted that he collapsed on the ground, panting. But the task statistics seemed a bit strange. Sung Suho had obviously met today's task conditions, but the system was still continuing to count. Could it be that if the task data is still being counted, it means there are other hidden tasks? Taking advantage of this opportunity, let's see how many the system will count to. Soon, the system sent a new task. Seeing this, Gray was stunned. Would this ever end? After a series of hunting, he finally received rewards. The first reward was status recovery. The second was 3 ability points, third was a random blessing box, fourth was a random curse box. So Sung Suho unhesitatingly opened the status recovery reward. Saving it for when he's injured might be a clever move. Then, he accepted the second reward. The higher the level, the harder it is to earn points. So daily tasks allow Sung Suho to grow stronger each day. But the next rewards required him to choose 1 out of 2. Please select one from the random boxes. Seeing this, Sung Suho pondered for a moment. What I want might not be what I need. And what I need might not be what I want. The range of items Sung Suho wanted was too vast, and he needed too many things right now. Let's choose the cursed random box. Congratulations, you've acquired Fire God's Horn. It's actually a pair of gloves, made from the horn of a greedy demon fire seed. Contains the Fire God's power, can increase attack power. Desire for destruction adds 30% physical damage. The more souls the demon hunter consumes, the stronger the Fire God's power becomes. Sung Suho can't always use shadow soldiers as weapons, so these gloves suit him perfectly. Plus they add 30% physical damage. And hunting more demons might increase this value. The gloves feel a bit heavy when worn. It seems ability points should be added to strength. Now he can hunt demons to upgrade his weapon. But then his companion's status changed. Gray's trust level changed from respect to fear. Nearby, Biru quickly explained. Gray isn't a shadow soldier with endless stamina. Let it rest for a day. Hearing this, Sung Suho agreed. You're right. Then he left the shadow dungeon. The guild associated with the Hunter Dog Guild is called the Reaper Guild. He might as well use this time to investigate. Just as Sung Suho was considering where to start, his phone suddenly received a desperate message from the teaching assistant. Suho, please come help me. It turned out he needed to enter a dungeon today. But all the collectors went missing. With no choice, he called Sung Suho over. Then he handed the work clothes to Sung Suho, as collector jobs are more dangerous than miners. Miners only need to safely mine at the end of the dungeon after the hunt. But collectors need to recover monster carcasses, so they must follow closely behind the attack team. Therefore, they must be prepared for monster attacks at any time, and might get injured by spikes or scales on monster corpses. They must also wear protective suits. Just then, the attack team approached and immediately questioned, "What's going on? Only 2 people in the collection team?" Hearing this, Lim Dog-yun awkwardly replied, "I'm sorry, everyone was supposed to come, but the other collectors have gone missing." The attack team leader responded, "You're being completely irresponsible. Do you know how much money was paid to the Reaper Guild just for entry tickets? If you delay our monster hunt, I'll officially report you to the association and make sure you can never work as collectors again." Seeing this, Lim Dog-yun quietly said, "Suho, use your summoning magic to show them a thing or two." Sung Suho first checked everyone's levels. 4 D-rank magic hunters, 5 D-rank combat hunters, and 1 C-rank healer. The man who just spoke seems to be the healer and attack team leader. Considering the cursed random box and the Fire God's Horn weapon that consumes demons, plus Lim Dog-yun's request, and the fact that they're in a real-type dungeon owned by the Reaper Guild. If all this isn't coincidence, then it can be said with certainty that dangerous events could happen here at any time. Entering the dungeon, everyone just lit torches and discovered several lizard monsters, staring at them menacingly. The attack team leader quickly warned, "The collection team is understaffed. Stay close to us and move quickly." The reason demon-type monsters appeared here is because the cursed random box gave Sung Suho the Fire God's Horn. However, this is a good opportunity to learn hunter team battle tactics. After completing the daily task, Sung Suho had many green demon, stone corporal, and centurion bodies. With intelligence points increased, he could now control 7 shadow soldiers. Meanwhile, the attack team had finished killing most of the monsters. So the leader suggested taking a break. He was concerned that the collection team was slowing them down. As he turned to urge them to hurry, he widened his eyes in surprise. What's going on? How are there so many summons? Are these all summoned by your magic? This is incredible. Saying this, he grabbed Sung Suho's hand. I sincerely invite you. Please become our attack team's exclusive collector. But Sung Suho refused without even thinking. The leader still wouldn't give up, stating they would offer the highest salary in the industry. But just then, Lim Dogyan reported, "We've found ordinary human corpses. Judging by their clothes and accessories, they seem to be civilians. What's puzzling is that there weren't reports of fire-breathing monsters here." Sung Suho immediately realized these must be mysterious flame beasts, the same kind that appeared at the art academy before. And there wasn't just one. Others gradually discovered many flame beasts. So Sung Suho quickly suggested to Captain Sun, "We should report this to the Hunter Association." Captain Sun also found the situation suspicious. Judging by appearances, this person seems to be an ordinary civilian, not a hunter. Their team members were all D rank or C rank awakened ones, so there shouldn't be any problems. Let's continue forward. This was exactly as Sung Suho had guessed, and they still wanted to move forward in this situation. So Sung Suho quickly gestured for everyone to wait, saying the mysterious flame beasts were far more dangerous than imagined. But this request was immediately rejected by Captain Sun. "I'm the captain, I make the decisions. You just clean up here and follow us." With no choice, Sung Suho could only exchange a glance with Lim Dogyan. "If you see mysterious flame beasts, run immediately." Because Sung Suho had a feeling that going deeper would likely lead to something dangerous. Meanwhile, elsewhere, many ordinary people were being scorched by blue flames. Not enough fire. Number 2, how's the firewood supply issue? I heard there were some problems with the supplier, so supply is unstable. Looks like we need to make that person formulate a new supply plan. It just had to be the Hunter Dog Guild that supplies our firewood having problems. If this continues, our star powder production might compare to other factories. But he stopped mid-sentence. Not good. Movement above. Our hunter's coming. Perfect timing to solve our urgent need. Let's go, brothers. Sacrifices have arrived. Call our kind internally. Number 3, remember, we must capture them alive, understand? Meanwhile, in the attack team, today's harvest is really good. Continuing to hunt was the right decision. The collection team is also doing great today. Should we use something I've been saving? He pulled out a spherical object from his pocket. Have you heard of star powder? Isn't that the magic enhancer that hunters covet? I heard it's hard to buy. I can't believe you've been hiding it. Though it only lasts a week, I've heard low-level people can even gain a level using it. By taking this, I could have C-rank level magic. Little did he know, they were already being targeted by those monsters from before. Before anyone could react, a monster pounced on Captain Sun, who hadn't even noticed. Suddenly, with a slashing sound, the monster held a knife to Captain Sun's neck, causing him to spit black blood. The star powder immediately fell to the ground. Seeing this, a nearby attack team member exclaimed, "Captain, are you okay?" But the monster answered first, "Don't worry, I used the back of the blade, he won't die." Hearing this, the captain sighed in relief. A talking monster? Anyway, it's an enemy, everyone stay alert. But as soon as he finished speaking, he was struck hard by the monster again. Then the monster counted with its knife tip. 10 people in total, looks a bit difficult to handle. As it spoke, it took out some star powder. Kill the strong hunters without mercy. Seeing this, the attack team members were dumbfounded. How is this possible? Monsters can also eat star powder? But the monster swallowed it without hesitation. Correct answer. Captain Sun immediately made a decision. We must kill it before the drug takes effect. Having said that, he launched an attack against the monster. But after just one round, several weaker team members were beaten helplessly. Then a yellow flame appeared. Seeing this, other attack team members screamed, "What's happening? It's fire! I can't see anything! Help! It's monsters!" But with a series of blade slashes, the stronger members were instantly killed. The monster slowly uttered from its mouth, "We've got our firewood." At this time, the system also sent Sung Suho a new mission: rescue the survivors. Nearby humans have been captured by demons. Please rescue as many as possible. Rewards will vary based on the number rescued. Current survivors, 7. Rescued survivors, 0. Seeing the task, Sung Suho took a sharp breath. There are demons here? So he quickly warned Lim Dogyan, "You'd better leave the dungeon quickly. The attack team ahead must be in trouble. The green demons will guide you to find the entrance." But Lim Dogyan was very confused. However, after pondering for a moment, he decided to leave. After all, he felt staying would only be a hindrance. Hearing this, Sung Suho said, "Brother, don't ask too many questions. After you get out, immediately request support from the Hunter Association." Then Sung Suho quickly summoned Gray, and immediately evolved it into mutant form. We must act quickly. With that, he stomped and shattered the ground, rushing toward the attack team without hesitation. Looking at the attack team situation, The ground was covered with blood trails from team members, and several dead attack team members' bodies. But for these demons, human corpses were merely their firewood. Soon we can open the transmission portal to summon demons. To celebrate our victory, clean up the firewood quickly. But monster number 3 kept complaining about unfairness. Anyway, fortunately the firewood issue is solved. Brother, with this, star powder can be produced in batches smoothly. Although the awakening agent made from the demon's ancestral mad blood potion can enhance magic, it still has side effects and consumes the user's life force. Originally using hellfire to burn magic stones soaked in demon blood, now by replacing hellfire with the flame of mysterious flame beasts, the side effects can be reduced. This is thanks to the apostles who told us the manufacturing method. Life forms that have been polluted, turning them into mindless monster beasts, were brought to this world when the apostles descended. Because of them, low-level demons like us have the opportunity to become stronger. But just then, the demons keenly detected a target moving rapidly towards them. Could there be hunters we missed? Number 3 was certain there were none. It could only be new hunters. The demons were already prepared for battle when Sung Suho arrived. Sung Suho immediately rushed over and stared intently at the creatures before him. They must be the demons who attacked the attack team. But seeing what was behind, Sung Suho was shocked. Tying up several mysterious flame beasts to burn together, are they performing some special ritual? After the system's reminder, he learned there were currently 7 survivors. Fortunately, they hadn't been harmed yet. But the demon gave Sung Suho no time to react, thrusting a powerful palm strike at him. After missing, the demon glared fiercely at Sung Suho. Seeing this, Sung Suho quickly asked, "Did you kill those hunters outside?" When the demon didn't answer, Sung Suho threw a powerful punch at demon number 3. The 2 nearby demons thought, "This is bad." He avoided number 3's attack even after he took star powder. "Looks like we need to join in too." After taking star powder, the demon gritted his teeth. But Sung Suho didn't care. Regardless of how many demons there were, he directly threw a middle punch at them. The demons weren't to be outdone, swinging their fist-like sandbags at Sung Suho. Seeing this, Sung Suho quickly dodged sideways and landed perfectly with a smooth stance. But the demons' attacks came instantaneously, and Sung Suho immediately realized the situation was dire. By the time he wanted to dodge, it was already too late. The demon's sneak attack hit Sung Suho's back, while other demons also attacked him, shooting energy from above. In this desperate situation, Sung Suho struggled to shout the command, "Arise!" As soon as he spoke, several shadow demons stood in front of Sung Suho, firmly grabbing the attacking demon's arm. Seeing this, the demon was stunned. Could this be? Then it questioned its older brother again. "Brother, is that?" And the elder brother confirmed. "Yes, it's the same as what we saw the day the demons were annihilated. This skill seems to be the same as the Great Shadow Monarch's power, but compared to the Great Shadow Monarch, he's extremely weak. As long as he's not the Great Shadow Monarch, we have nothing to fear." Sung Suho also had his own analysis. Although they were all weaker than Brokey, 3 demons together made Sung Suho's chances of winning very small. Relying solely on endless green demons would just waste magic power. It seemed Sung Suho had to use that method. Originally, after killing Brokey, he had Baru read its memory, and he also preserved the remaining corpse. The longer a shadow soldier is dead, the more powerful it becomes. Seeing Brokey's final moments of life, Sung Suho had this idea. If it died with regret due to being controlled by Itarim, perhaps Sung Suho could use shadow power to transform it into a warrior. It could also become his powerful ally in battle. Of course, he needed to get Gray's opinion. Gray closed its eyes and gave Sung Suho an affirmative answer. "Arise! Brokey, if you regret what happened before, I'll give you another chance to fight for the Fang lineage. If you share this thought, answer me." As soon as he finished speaking, Brokey showed an obvious reaction. Suddenly, with a roar, Brokey's massive shadow appeared before the demons, and roared angrily at them, firmly protecting Sung Suho behind it. The demons were stunned upon seeing Brokey. Hunter Dog Brokey? So the one who defeated Brokey is this guy? The battle that followed for Sung Suho was between him, Gray, and Brokey, a battle belonging to the 3 of them. So now, let's compete with these demons. Following that, there was a cracking sound. Sung Suho deflected the demon's sword with one move, and firmly grabbed its neck. Due to the pressure, the demon coughed violently, but Sung Suho gave it no chance to resist. This would take care of the first one. But the next moment, a sense of foreboding welled up in his heart. In an instant, Sung Suho leaped away to dodge an attack. It was the demon brothers coming to help. Damn it! This is going to be difficult now, because these demons are very tricky when they team up. And if this drags on, he'll eventually run out of magic power for Gray's possession. Shadow Brokey could only hold off one demon, so Sung Suho needed to find a way to separate them temporarily for a one-on-one duel. But just then, a woman suddenly appeared behind him, standing between him and the demons. Then she slowly said, "I just want to ask one thing. Where is my lord Sung Jinwoo?" Hearing this, Sung Suho was confused. Where did this injured female knight come from? And she specifically asked for Sung Suho's father. Unexpectedly, Beru suddenly spoke up. Why are you here? At these words, the woman froze. That voice sounds so familiar. Beru, great, it really is you, Beru. She grabbed Beru in her hands. But why do you look like this? Where is my lord Sung Jinwoo? And who is this boy? The demon also began to ponder. Sacrificial demon summoning. But she seems to know them. If she helps them, that would be troublesome. Now the woman's eyes were happily narrowed into slits. I never expected to see you here, Beru. I'm saved. Now I can feel at ease. Hearing this, Beru pointed at the demon. Your timing is perfect. We'll catch up later. Deal with these guys first. At this point, the demon suddenly attacked. Let's deal with that injured female demon first. As long as there's blood, it's enough for star powder. But Sung Suho was also very confused. I feel like I've seen her somewhere before, and she's currently injured. Can she fight demons? But Beru dismissively stated that those low-level demons were no match for her. Because her name is Demon Essel. When the king was exterminating the demon realm, she was the only demon he spared. The demon nobility is the Radiru family, and she's the eldest daughter of that family. Her strength is equivalent to a human S-rank hunter. Hearing S-rank, Sung Suho was amazed. Does that mean I can witness an S-rank battle with my own eyes? But surprisingly, after just one round, Sung Suho and Beru were both confused. What's going on? Esil, why have you become so weak? And I see you have much less magic power now. Esil struggled to respond from the ground. It's because some changes occurred. About half a year ago, most demons in the demon realm sparked a rebellion. Although we tried our best to stop it, with just our family's power, we couldn't suppress the rebellion. Though I survived under the family's protection, I lost my power when my blood was drained during escape. Beru, don't just stand there, help heal me. Hearing this, the demons were excited. Did you hear that, brothers? This powerless pair? We didn't recognize her earlier because she's too weak now. Didn't expect she's a survivor of the Radiru family. This is a great opportunity to absorb demon nobility blood to enhance our power. Meanwhile, Sung Suho was also considering battle strategies. It would be best if they could settle this one-on-one. Beru suddenly suggested, Young Monarch, the ability I recovered during my magic restoration, can be useful now. Then the system displayed a notification. Beru uses skill, Cruel Command, can increase Isil's ability by 50%. But at the same time, Isil will be cursed with madness. After doing all this, Beru said calmly, Go, useless female demon! As soon as he finished, Esil howled and snarled, charging towards the demons. Seeing this, Sung Suho was quite confused. She actually howled? Esil seems a bit pitiful. Anyway, if this can lead to one-on-one battles, it works. Facing Esil's attack, the demon wasn't worried at all. With a swift move, it snuck behind her. Haha, success got the demon nobility blood. Sung Suho wasn't idle either, stomping and shattering the ground with one explosive step, then rushing towards the demon. Since this was now a one-on-one duel, the outcome was beyond doubt. With just one strike, Demon Number 3's head was instantly split open by Sung Suho. The system also reminded, Ruler has killed a low-level demon. Fire God's Horn is consuming the demon's soul. Consume demon souls, 1, its destructive desire now adds 31% physical damage. Meanwhile, on Esil's side, due to Demon Number 3's death, Number 2 was distracted. But regardless, it had to deal with this crazy woman first. But just then, with a ding, the system prompted, Cruel Command Subject Esil has exhausted her stamina. Then Esil immediately fainted, falling with a thud right in front of Demon Number 2. But at the same time, Sung Suho had circled to the demon's back and killed it instantly before it could react. Low-level demon killed. Fire God's Horn is consuming the demon's soul. Seeing Numbers 2 and 3 die tragically, Demon Number 1 became furious. Looking at the battlefield, it realized, now we're outnumbered? These useless guys. But don't celebrate too early. I have another method. With that, it lunged for Isil. If I drink this crazy woman's blood, my strength will greatly increase. Sung Suho immediately spotted Demon Number 1's intention, and with one leap, stood in front of her. Seeing this, the demon became angry. Human! How dare! But Sung Suho just sneered. Keep one for me to absorb? Brokey, the remaining demon is yours. Given the order, Brokey didn't hesitate and bit towards the remaining Demon Number 1. At this time, Esil slowly regained consciousness. Beru, you're too much. But anyway, apart from Lord Sung Jinwoo, I never thought someone else would use shadow soldiers. Tell me, who exactly is he? Hearing this, Beru paused for a moment. You're really disloyal. Haven't you recognized him yet? I'll give you a chance to think again. Do you know anyone who might have this possibility? At these words, Esil suddenly realized. Could it be? Meanwhile, Demon Number 1 was also dealt with by Brokey. Sung Suho's level instantly reached 20 and the system subsequently unlocked the shop function. Now Asil finally understood. No wonder he looks so much like the Lord, he's the young monarch. Saying this, Asil immediately knelt down. Asil greets the young monarch. Were you just calling me young monarch? Yes, young monarch. It's been so long I didn't recognize you at first. You look so much like Lord Sung Jinwoo. After saying this, Asil immediately fainted. Seeing this, Sung Suho quickly asked, Beru, is she okay? It's fine, young monarch. She just fainted from exhaustion. With this, Sung Suho had completed the mission to rescue the survivors, and all 7 were safe and sound. Then the system rewards were distributed. 3 ability points and 700 gold coins. But what are these gold coins for? So Sung Suho quickly opened the system shop. It turns out you can purchase items in the shop, with quite a variety of potions and other things. This reminded Sung Suho of his father giving him pocket money when he was little. Thinking about it now, this must be why his dad prepared the system for Sung Suho. Thanks for the pocket money, Dad. Looking at Asil's unconscious state, Sung Suho bought a bottle of low-level healing potion. Not sure if it would work on Asil, but there was no other option, so he had to try something. So he poured the entire potion down Asil's throat. Fortunately, it had some effect, and Asil's complexion improved quickly. Beru complained nearby. Spending gold coins on a useless demon. Young monarch, you're really extravagant. But regardless, Sung Suho couldn't just leave Asil here, so he asked Broki to take her and the corpses to the dungeon entrance. Sung Suho had more important matters to attend to. The first time he saw the mysterious flame beasts, he felt their burning state looked really painful. I'm sorry, this is all I can do. Meanwhile, at the Hunter Association, Monitoring Department Chief Hangang was puzzled. How strange. Hunters who entered deep into the real scene dungeon were found unconscious at the entrance. What exactly happened? Just then, a subordinate came to report. Spiny lizard and mysterious flame beast corpses were found inside the dungeon. Judging from the hunter's wounds, they weren't caused by monsters. A severely damaged blade-shaped basement was found deep in the dungeon. There must be other species besides monsters. As Lim Dogyun was about to leave, he was called back. Are you the complainant, Lim Dogyun? Do you know someone named Sung Suho from the collection team? Where is Sung Suho now? Hearing this, Lim Dogyun hesitated for a moment. Well, after we came out together, I took him to a safe place. Hangang was suspicious but didn't pursue further. You all did very well. According to Hunter Association regulations, you did exactly what E-rank hunters should do. Then he shouted to his subordinates. Look carefully for any other traces. But Lim Dogyun knew very well that the person who rescued the survivors must be Suho. Although he didn't understand why Suho concealed his rank, he was certain he wasn't a bad person. I'll wait until he tells me himself. Meanwhile, Asil also woke up from her coma. I never thought this would happen. Lord Sung Jinwoo left Earth to stop the invasion. Beru continued to explain. The Lord sent me to Earth to remove young Monarch's seal. But young Monarch is a genius who easily broke the seal himself. Then Sung Suho looked at Asil and spoke. Your name is Asil, right? Have we met before? Yes, young Monarch, we met during your tutorial. You said you would remember me. Have you forgotten? But for some reason, Sung Suho's memory of that time was very blurry. So Sung Suho racked his brain for a long time. Let's finish this quickly. Wait a minute. Young Monarch, I remember now, you surrendered as soon as we met, right? At these words, Beru immediately criticized Asil. It was a test for young Monarch, and you just brushed it off like that? Let's forget about the past, but why have you become so weak? What exactly happened in the demon realm? With no choice, Asil had to explain. Then let me explain to the young Monarch. I presume young Monarch has heard from Beru about the Lord eliminating the Demon King and other demon nobles. Since then, the Radiru family, which became the first in the demon realm, has been waiting in the demon city for Lord Sung Jinwoo's summons. But for decades, the Lord never summoned us, and we lived peacefully. However, things became turbulent starting half a year ago. A magic enhancer called Star Powder began circulating in the demon realm. Star Powder? I heard about it from the dying demon earlier. Star Powder has no effect on high-level demons with strong magic, but low-level demons can enhance their magic without cost after using it. Star Powder was the fuse, and with Lord Sung Jinwoo's long absence, the demons united against the Radiru family protected by the Great Shadow Monarch. Thus, the rebellion gradually evolved into a war. Our Radiru family fought desperately to defend the demon city the Lord left us. But we still couldn't stop the rebellion. After more than half a year of war, our Radiru family was finally defeated. But the demons who sparked the rebellion didn't stop there. They drained the blood of our family's captives. By drinking it, they could gain even more powerful strength. Dad and everyone in the family sacrificed themselves. They also drained a lot of my blood, which is why my power weakened. Thinking about it now, am I useless? Everyone died, but I'm living on in such a wretched state? The demon realm has been taken from us. What will Lord Sung Jinwoo say when he finds out? Now Sung Suho thought of his father. What would he do, even though his father isn't here? But you and your family all fought to the death, so I think he would say you've worked well. I'm very grateful that you fought for my father until the very end. In the future, I'll do my best to help you. Let's make the Radiru family glorious again, Esil. Hearing this, Esil recalled what Monarch Sung Jinwoo had once said. Didn't you say competition between demon families is fierce? I'll make your Radiru family number one. Thinking of this, Esil's face was filled with tears. At the same time, the system suddenly prompted. The last surviving member of the true demon nobility, Esil Radiru, pays respects to the player. Seeing this, Esil wiped her eyes and smiled through her tears. We are the Radiru family. Notification: do you agree to let the descendant of the Monarch of White Flames become your companion? Sung Soo-ho looked at the prompt box before him in disbelief. Could Esil be a descendant of the second monarch? How is this possible? The last surviving member of demon nobility. This means that only Esil remains of the demon nobility. So, Sung Soo-ho chose without hesitation, yes, and formed a bond skill with her demon strike. Receive energy from the Monarch of White Flames descendant to deliver a powerful blow. Seeing this, Esil was stunned. I actually have a status window too. Unfortunately, Gray can't speak, so we don't know about him yet. It seems companions can see status windows too. It was only then that Esil belatedly realized, I'm actually a descendant of the Monarch of White Flames. Afterward, Sung Soo-ho took Esil to a secluded place. Let's try our new bond skill. Are you ready, Esil? As the bond skill delivered a powerful strike, suddenly a statue of a female demon appeared in the air, holding a black orb of light. Sung Soo-ho was quite puzzled by this. Is this the bond skill between Esil and me? It looks quite powerful. But Esil suddenly collapsed behind him with a thud. I'm sorry, young monarch, using the skill once has drained all my energy. No wonder one skill exhausted all her energy. How powerful was this skill? But a skill that could transfer all her power to him must surely be the most intense strike. Then let me test the strength of this bond skill. Saying this, he fiercely punched the wall. Although the wall was instantly left with a deep crater by Sung Soo-ho, the force seemed far less than Sung Soo-ho had imagined. Not much different from his normal attacks. It seems different from the bond skill with Gray. At this point, Esil gradually regained consciousness. Young monarch, is that all the power I gave? Only after Sung Soo-ho read the system description did he understand. It turns out Demon Strike relates to the degree of power charging, but there was no explanation on how to charge it. At this moment, Beru spoke from the side. Young monarch, I have a request. May I eat these demon corpses? Hearing this, Sung Soo-ho immediately refused. These corpses are for extracting shadows. So Sung Soo-ho slowly extended his right hand, arise. But just then, the system suddenly prompted, magic has been contaminated, unable to extract shadow. Seeing this, Beru explained from the side. Even the monarch couldn't extract shadows from demons whose souls were contaminated, so he could only control them through contracts, just like with Radiru. If that's the case, then Beru, you can eat them. But Esil immediately burst into tears. How dare you say we demons are contaminated, that's too much. Seeing this, Sung Soo-ho awkwardly took out a potion. Don't be angry, drinking some potion might make you feel better. By the way, since you have nowhere to stay, you can live anywhere in this city area. So Sung Soo-ho drew a designated area for Esil, and appointed Esil as the master of this territory. We are companions, this is what I should do. But just then, Beru's voice came from the side. Young monarch, in the memories of these demon corpses, I found clues about Itarim. Let me tell you all these memories, but before that, I must tell you two things. First, star powder has begun to spread on Earth. Second, the mysterious flame beasts are magical beasts from outer space. Upon hearing this, Esil was shocked. Isn't star powder only circulated in the Hell Realm? Sung Soo-ho was also very puzzled. The mysterious flame beasts are actually from outer space? Then, Beru continued to explain, I don't know if it's coincidence or inevitable, but all the demons I ate were related to Brokey. To ensure the supply of materials for star powder, which is the mysterious flame beast. They source from the Hunting Dog Guild, which means kidnapping ordinary people and then infecting them to become mysterious flame beasts. Besides here, many places are producing star powder, and these places are called star powder factories. Therefore, I have organized all the information, the Hunting Dog Guild that kidnaps humans, the Reaper Guild that sends people to factories, and the factories that use these people to produce star powder. And there must be Itarim's involvement among these three. Hearing this, Sung Soo-ho immediately fell into thought. Could all this be related to Itarim's invasion? But just then, Beru continued. There's also a human who built this star powder production system. Hearing this, Sung Soo-ho was stunned. There's actually a human involved, an apostle of Itarim hiding somewhere on Earth, and there's a human helping this apostle. He is the vice president of the Reaper Guild, Lee Min-sung. If we follow him, we might be able to find Itarim's apostle. Meanwhile, at the entrance of the Reaper Guild, a group of reporters had already set up their cameras. Look, President Lee Min-sung is coming out. This was followed by a series of camera clicks. Mr. Lee Min-sung, can you answer a few questions? Are the Hunter Association's investigation results out? Lee Min-sung responded calmly under the protection of bodyguards. The investigation results show we are innocent, which was expected. Just then, someone loudly questioned, Did you really know nothing about the Hunting Dog Guild, funded by the Reaper Guild, kidnapping ordinary people? And what do you think about the frequent hunter deaths in the S Station area managed by the Reaper Guild? Surprisingly, Lee Min-sung was quite the actor, as tears flowed from his eyes. After the great upheaval 2 years ago, our Reaper Guild only contributed a force to the chaotic world. The initial intention of funding the Hunting Dog Guild was the hope that the guild, mostly D-rank hunters, could soon engage in public welfare activities. The S Station area was just intended to be shared with hunters from other guilds, allowing new hunters to be trained there. I never thought good intentions would accidentally do harm. If I had paid more attention to management. Saying this, Lee Min-sung even cried loudly. There wouldn't have been sacrifices. I'm very sorry. I apologize to everyone. We, the Reaper Guild, have let the public down. Upon hearing this, people began to discuss. How is this possible? If it's true, then the Reaper Guild has been wronged. And the Hunter Association says they are innocent. Has the Reaper Guild always been doing so much good? They must be heroes then. Little did they know that Lee Min-sung revealed an extremely sinister expression as soon as he turned around. This kind of acting is a piece of cake for a former Asian superstar like me. The old knife is still sharp, Lee Min-sung. That old fox didn't pursue my responsibility and just let me go like this? Anyway, it doesn't matter. The Hunter Association doesn't seem to know yet that the star powder circulating in the market is my handiwork. Little did he know, his every move was being watched by Sung Soo-ho. Looking at his departing figure, Sung Soo-ho couldn't help but think, so he's Lee Min-sung? This guy is too sinister. Beru, can you sense Itarim's aura? Beru indicated he couldn't sense it, so that means he's not being controlled by Itarim yet. Hearing this, Sung Soo-ho pondered for a moment. Whether it's us or not, we'll soon find out. But just then, Beru spoke up to remind him. I know young Monarch has already defeated several powerful enemies, but this time Beru must absolutely prevent young Monarch. Because this human called Lee Min-sung, the magical power he currently possesses, with young Monarch's current strength, you are absolutely no match for this Lee Min-sung. Meanwhile, under golden chandeliers elsewhere, with various fruit platters and high-end liquor readily available, Lee Min-sung was embracing a beautiful woman. Too easy, just an act, and the public opinion changed. The Reaper Guild's vice president Lee Min-sung has no suspicion, and the guild's dedication to public welfare is continuously being made public. Opening the S Station area is for the trials of new hunters. Even after the Hunting Dog Guild incident, Vice President Lee Min-sung hasn't stopped his charitable efforts. Just then, the proprietress suddenly walked in. My goodness, isn't this the hero of the hunter world? Why didn't you tell me in advance you were coming? Then, she gestured for the beautiful women in the private room to leave first. Lee Min-sung just responded calmly, Do I need to report everything I do to you? No, you know that's not what I meant. It's known that Lee Min-sung was a rich second generation in his youth. When he was younger, he was even a superstar, so having some arrogance was inevitable. However, after the great upheaval, this arrogance was trampled to pieces. Although his becoming an A-rank awakened one shocked the world, Lee Min-sung's driver became one of the country's rare S-rank awakened ones. The relationship between the two changed drastically overnight. But for some reason, he joined the Reaper Guild where his driver Lim Taegyu was. Now let's talk business, Vice President Lee. Lee Min-sung asked puzzledly, What business? At this, the proprietress moved closer to his ear. Don't play dumb, I'm talking about star powder, of course. Hearing this, Lee Min-sung immediately put down his wine glass. Haven't you heard the outside news? We lost distributors and a factory, supply definitely can't keep up. But the proprietress just smiled slightly. Don't joke, Vice President Lee, how could you not have a solution? Fine, then I'll urge my partner. It seems I have to go find that guy. Lately he doesn't listen to me much. That kid! Meanwhile, Gray was constantly hunting green demons in the Shadow Underground City. Asil was also continuously improving her strength. Sung Soo-ho's level was no longer increasing. To find his parents, he had to become strong, while also protecting Earth's safety like his father. Beru, summon the next green demon. Seeing this, Beru couldn't help but think. Young Monarch seems a bit anxious. Currently, to get clues about Itarim's apostle from Lee Min-sung, Beru suggests not having a confrontation as a premise, because contacting Lee Min-sung is an extremely dangerous action. Hearing this, Sung Soo-ho looked puzzled. But how can we find clues from him? Beru responded coldly. If he doesn't cooperate, I can only eat him to confirm. The Monarch has allowed me to eat evil people. But the premise of all this is defeating Lee Min-sung. At the Hunter Association, I've seen hunters of various ranks. If I were to judge, young Monarch's current strength is about that of a C-rank hunter. Gray is D-rank. Asil is the same as you, C-rank. If it's a combined force of young Monarch and Gray, at most you could barely reach B-rank. Though there are differences within the same rank, for a D-rank to defeat a C-rank, it would take the power of 10 D-ranks. For young Monarch to defeat Lee Min-sung now is simply a fantasy. Hearing this, Sung Soo-ho pondered for a moment. The strength gap between me and Lee Min-sung is too large. Let's look at the task rewards first. Ability points in a random box. This is considered catching quite a lot, but there's no technique. Is the hidden reward one time only? Let's see what's in the random box first. Sung Suho opened it to find a gray ring inside. Difficulty to obtain, 0, accessory class, feeling, +5. Now Sung Suho's feeling had reached 29 points. Not bad, actually got a ring that increases feeling by 5 points. But it couldn't change Sung Suho's current state. Since some unknown time, hunting green demons no longer increased Sung Suho's level. And this time the fire god's horn attack power only increased by 3%. Sung Suho wanted to get stronger quickly. But currently there were too few ways to get stronger. To level up, he still needed to enter dungeons to defeat magical beasts. Currently only the mining team and recovery team were willing to contact Sung Suho. Indeed, which attack team would recruit an E-rank hunter? But Sung Suho couldn't enter the transfer gate without authorization. According to Hunter Association regulations, that would be illegal. At this point, Beru suggested from the side, "Why don't young Monarch get your magic power reassessed?" But Sung Suho rejected without thinking because doing so would inevitably expose his strength. Since it was already known that Itarim's apostle was on Earth, future actions had to be more careful. Letting them discover Sung Suho would instead become his father's weakness. One Lee Minsung was already troublesome enough. If they added an Itarim apostle, Sung Suho couldn't even imagine the difficulty of dealing with it. But Beru indicated that he shouldn't worry too much about Itarim. If they arrived on Earth before me, then they are now affected by dimensional movement. Their power shouldn't be too strong. Because dimensional movement between outer spaces must go through dimensional cracks. The outer wall of these dimensional cracks is very narrow, and has complex properties that conflict with magical power. Even if the outer wall is forcibly expanded, it will quickly recover. So the stronger the magical power of the species breaking the dimensional wall, the more time and energy it consumes. This is why Itarim's army cannot invade this universe, and why the Monarch is currently having difficulty returning due to dimensional movement. Listening to Beru's explanation, Sung Suho finally understood. Originally, Earth's apostles are relatively weak fellows. That makes sense. No wonder they didn't appear when using Brokian demons. If Itarim's invasion is a long process, then now is the best time for Sung Suho to become stronger. Seeing Sung Suho in thought, Beru couldn't help but think, because Monarch Sung Jinwoo had instructed when sending it back to Earth. After returning, whatever decisions and choices made would be entirely up to it. Afterward, the Monarch handed Beru a key. When you need help, take this and find him. It will definitely bring much help to Suho. The other reason the Monarch gave Beru the key could it be for this moment, but just then, Sung Suho suddenly screamed, "I'm so dumb!" Saying this, he reached into his pocket. A way to enter the transfer gate without violating Hunter Association regulations. And without being detected, isn't it right in front of me? Sung Suho hadn't seen his uncle for a long time. It was time to visit him. Sung Suho's uncle is Yu Jinho, president of Ajin Software, and the game he developed has a record high of 12.41 million simultaneous online users. For 4 years since its launch, it has firmly held the top position. It is the hugely popular virtual reality game, Beautiful World. No one expected that an unworldly rich second generation could develop the industry's #1 game. And his game company was called Ajin Software, and that company's boss was Sung Suho's uncle. Afterwards, Sung Suho went to Ajin Company. "The chairman has been waiting for you for some time. This way please, Mr. Sung." I didn't expect such courtesy. This was Sung Suho's first visit to his uncle's company. But what seemed strange to Sung Suho was, why were there so many awakened ones in the company? At this point, the guide explained to him, "Are you confused? Not all awakened ones want to risk their lives going to dungeons. As long as the annual salary is right, they can both work in the office and protect this place. As for why there are so many, I'm not at liberty to tell you." Soon, Sung Suho arrived at his uncle's place. As soon as they met, his uncle greeted Sung Suho warmly. "Long time no see, Suho, you've grown so big, let uncle take a good look at you. I heard you awakened at the National Art Academy. Do you know how worried your aunt was? But during this time, you've matured quite a bit." Hearing this, Sung Suho could only smile awkwardly. "Well, I am still growing. Uncle, let's get to the point." "Uncle, please look at this first." So, Yu Jinho picked up the proposal and glanced at it. "I was wondering what you suddenly wanted from me. Turns out it's a proposal. Seems our Suho has grown up. Your intention is to have me find a way to let you enter the transfer gate, right?" "Yes, uncle. If you can help me purchase transfer gate components, satisfy the conditions for entering the transfer gate with an attack team, then all magic crystals obtained from the transfer gate, I'm willing to give to Ajin Soft for free. DC-level dungeons are no problem for me." Upon hearing this, his uncle's eyes became very serious. "With just you and E-rank hunter?" Helplessly, Sung Suho had to continue explaining, "I have my own ways to clear transfer gates." But his uncle still disagreed. "Suho, do you know that your uncle is also an awakened one, and my rank is even higher than your E-rank? But I'm not very active in transfer gates either. You're going to such lengths to enter the transfer gate. Could it be that you suspect your parents were drawn into it? I've been commissioning hunters to investigate this matter. You just wait for the news." So that's what his uncle thought. At this moment, Beru suddenly spoke softly. "Young Monarch, do you really plan to tell him? Don't worry, Beru, Uncle is the person I trust the most. So, Sung Suho pondered for a moment and replied, Uncle, actually I am an awakened one who can level up. Upon hearing this, his uncle was shocked. What level up? Only then did Sung Suho slowly explain, there are invaders from outer space hiding on Earth now. To deal with this crisis, I need to continuously hunt magical beasts to level up. To resist future invasions, I need to enter dungeons to become stronger. But just then, his uncle suddenly asked Sung Suho, have you heard of the solo leveling project? Seems you already know everything. No wonder you could make such an unreasonable request. Is this a prank to embarrass your uncle? What you just said is exactly the plot of the single-player game our company is preparing. There's an awakened one who levels up alone among awakened ones, starting from the weakest E rank and continuing to level up to S rank, finally becoming the strongest awakened one in the world, and starting to protect this world. Hearing this, Sung Suho immediately thought, this should be the story his dad experienced. Want to trick your uncle? Kid, you're still too green. At this point, Beru suddenly jumped out. This is clearly your memory. Seeing Beru's appearance, his uncle was startled. Suho, why is there an ant face here? But Beru ignored him and continued, in those forgotten memories of yours, you were once the little follower who was always by the Monarch side. Also the human who witnessed the Monarch's battles the most times. Those intense moments must still be imprinted on your soul. That's what caused this phenomenon. 1,000 words are not as effective as this. Saying this, it directly took out the key the Monarch had asked it to bring. This is a gift the Monarch specifically asked me to bring to you. As the key was slowly inserted into his uncle's chest, immediately his uncle's gaze began to become dazed, as memories flooded back. Brother, you're E rank, right? I'll protect you from now on. Isn't that bag too heavy for you? Will you be okay? Brother, were you always this quiet? But you seem quite talkative now. You want to team up with him and fight against us? Brother, 20 times. No. Fight with me 19 times, please. Let me finish what I'm saying. Brother, this is a set of reinforced armor made by Y Country's Craftsman Guild. You and me, the two of us entering the dungeon, at least need to be fully prepared like this. Take it off quickly while I can still speak properly. With this, all collective hunting is over. Brother, you not only saved me, but have been helping me ever since. To me, you're closer than my own brother. If you consider me your brother, then from now on, I'll also treat you as my own brother. Come on, let's drink to this. At this point, his uncle recalled the past memories, tears streaming down his face. Immediately, he was sobbing uncontrollably. I never thought I would meet Big Brother again in this world. Seeing this, Sung Suho quietly asked, Beru, what did you do to my uncle? Beru assured Sung Suho, he's just regaining memories from the previous world. I see, so Big Brother possessed the ability to grow stronger without limits. As his son, you should also have this ability, right? I never thought Big Brother would still be protecting this world from the outer god Itarim's invasion. Indeed, Big Brother is still so different from others. To stop Itarim's invasion of Earth, I must also become stronger. You really are something, even at such a time. For the sake of appearances, you specially wrote a proposal to come here. Your inflexible manner is exactly like Big Brother's. I understand the situation now. I can no longer treat you like a child, protect you and shield you. Upon hearing this, Sung Suho immediately became excited. I accept your proposal. Oh yeah. At this moment, his uncle was feeling quite low. Big Brother is still enduring difficult trials, but he hopes to reawaken my memories, which means he's also given me a chance to help. Leave it to me, I'll definitely assist Suho well. Soon his uncle assembled a team of awakened ones for Sung Suho. But these people looked no different from ordinary people. Seems they were all the best choices for making up numbers. An awakened one leaning on a crutch asked, so we really just need to make up numbers and get paid 20,000 without going into the transfer gate? And you're really going in alone? I don't know how confident you are, but such behavior is too rash. If you really need help in there, just let us know anytime. Don't look at my current state, I might be able to help a little when needed. To this, Sung Suho just smiled slightly. If I really need help, I'll notify you. In the past, his father endured a lot alone, and now Sung Suho was the same, so the path ahead could only be walked by himself, Esil and Gray, so they could feel from his companion system, the warmth hidden in their hearts. For the current Sung Suho, he didn't want to let his father continue to bear everything alone. Meanwhile, Lee Min-sung had to make a trip outside for the star powder matter. Then, he looked up and said, we haven't seen each other for more than 3 months. The old man immediately recognized his identity. Isn't this the Reaper Guild Vice President Lee Min-sung who was just on the news? Hearing this, Lee Min-sung secretly rejoiced. Indeed, excellent people can't be hidden no matter what. Seems establishing a good image is also important. Wish you a pleasant day, President Lee. I am your loyal supporter. And this was exactly the feeling Lee Min-sung wanted. Everyone should look at me with such admiring eyes now. Because he was born into a wealthy family, he debuted in the entertainment and advertising circles as a child, known as the Asian Prince in the entertainment industry, and even became a top-rank awakened one after the Great Upheaval. Truly a super elite. originally thought his life would continue to be at the top of the pyramid like before. But because his driver Lim Taegyu became S-rank awakened one, his life became less satisfactory, and the relationship between the two underwent a subtle reversal from that time. For Lee Min-sung, the world had already collapsed, a reorganization of the pyramid triggered by a great upheaval. But Lee Min-sung wasn't resigned to this, so he wouldn't hesitate even if it meant joining hands with demons. Afterward, he arrived at his destination, quickly put away those disgusting smiles. "Where is your master? Is this how you welcome the owner of the house?" Just then, a voice suddenly came. "Lee Min-sung, right?" But what greeted him was a boy holding a book. "The color of your hair and those disgusting eyes. You're an alien." So Lee Min-sung gently patted the child. "Last time I saw you, you were still a baby. Haven't seen you for a few days and you've grown so much, and your magical power has strengthened too, growing quite well." Hearing this, the boy calmly responded, "I've said before, it's not growth but recovery of power. To solve the harsh dimensional movement problem, I separated my powerful main body, divided into small pieces of power and personality transmitted to this world. The first to arrive was me in baby state, then merged with the second fragment that arrived, becoming the current me. Although memories are connected, the personality is a bit different from the one you knew. Simply put, don't try to get close to me." Hearing this, Lee Min-sung just smirked. "I'm not interested in what personality you have. Do you still remember our previous agreement?" The boy indicated that of course he remembered. "You want wealth and fame, and to eliminate S-rank hunter Lim Taegyu, right? Tell me, what brings you here this time?" Hearing this, Lee Min-sung looked disdainful. "Can't I return to my own home? There are problems with star powder production. Recently, the hunting dog guild providing firewood and the S-station factory were destroyed, so I came to ask if there's any star powder inventory." But the boy just quietly asked, "Found the cause of the attack? I heard the one who wiped out the hunting dog guild was a hunter wearing a black mask. And the one who created the star powder production formula and established the circulation mechanism was you, Lee Min-sung. Didn't you promise this mechanism wouldn't have problems?" Hearing this, Lee Min-sung immediately waved his hand. "You can't accomplish big things if you worry about everything yourself, little boy." Upon hearing this, the boy's eyes suddenly became sharp. Even Lee Min-sung was inwardly shocked. The previous personality choosing you as a horse was really a mistake. Hearing this, Lee Min-sung immediately became angry. Without hesitation, he took out a weapon from his leg and directly held it against the boy's neck, threatening him with his tone. "I'm different from those puppets you've brainwashed. I'm an A-rank hunter who can easily take your life before you recover your power. If I'm not happy, so you need to be clear about who's really the horse here." Unexpectedly, the boy just calmly said, "The only standard for human hunter ranking seems to be the magical power on their bodies. Thinking it's the indicator of strength is too foolish." Saying this, his entire body emitted strange magical power, and the old man walking in the corridor, suddenly his mind became void, followed by a mysterious symbol appearing in his mind. Seeing this, Lee Min-sung was completely stunned. What's happening? Magical power is emanating from all directions, and not just people on this floor are affected. Everyone in the entire building is now controlled by the boy's magical power. Above the building, a huge yellow mysterious symbol was slowly rising. At this point, the boy finally spoke. "The previous personality thought it needed you for survival. Now I have the power to survive. So our relationship depends on your future abilities." As the boy spoke, the brainwashed crowd surrounded Lee Min-sung. Seeing this, Lee Min-sung immediately pondered for a moment, then directly dropped his weapon. "Just joking, don't take it seriously. I just wanted to see if you really have the ability to defeat an S-rank hunter." To this, the boy couldn't be bothered to say more. "Fine, I'll spare you since you're still useful." At the same time, all the people in the building returned to normal. At this moment, a woman brought over a box. "This is awakening agent with star powder compressed 100-fold. After dilution, it can make a large amount of star powder. Such awakening agent is also effective for an A-rank hunter like you. Would you like to try it?" Hearing this, Lee Min-sung smiled bitterly. "Thank you for your kindness. How could I take something of unknown origin?" But perhaps he had brought an extremely powerful monster to Earth this time. But he wouldn't care about that much. He only wanted to get what he wanted. What did anything else have to do with Lee Min-sung? At this point, the boy suddenly threw away the book in his hand. "I feel another fragment is about to arrive. Once I merge with the next power fragment, I won't need to hide anymore. Then, the real invasion of Earth will begin. And outside the gate, these weak, elderly, and disabled awakeners only need to wait here. Each time Sung Soo-ho enters, they can get 30,000. And the other condition is to keep what they see and hear secret. And they've already received money 4 times. Who cares? Why think so much when there's money to be made?" But the man with the crutch was very puzzled. That guy doesn't bring a mining team or a recovery team and clears the gate alone. Without mining or recovering, he probably doesn't get much benefit from entering the gate. Moreover, he started with D-grade gates, and now he's going to C-grade gates. He doesn't know what the guy does in there alone. Little does he know that Sung Soo-ho's shadow soldiers are both the mining team and recovery team, while Gray and Asil are responsible for collecting the spoils. But Isil is also very confused. Can the young monarch really face a C-grade boss alone? Actually, she's worrying too much. This kind of C-grade boss is nothing to Sung Suho now. Sung Suho only needs one whirlwind slash to inflict a paralysis effect on the boss. But the C-grade boss's resistance is too high, and it recovers in the blink of an eye. How strange, he wanted to try the paralysis effect of the broken sword he obtained last time, but it probably doesn't work on spider-type monsters. For insect-like creatures, it seems only the most primitive method works, which is to kill them directly. Swords are useless, so he can only use his fists. Obviously, the boss didn't expect Sung Suho to engage in close combat. Sung Suho used his full power attack, the violent shockwave hitting the boss's head directly. One punch is all it takes. Just one punch with Sung Suho's full strength. The C-grade boss died miserably under Sung Suho's feet. Going to a B-grade gate next time shouldn't be a problem, Sung Suho thought. Now in battle, Sung Suho can skillfully use the ruler's authority. And while leveling up during battles, his application of techniques has become increasingly proficient. But come to think of it, Sung Suho usually only uses the ruler's authority skill to move things. If he used these invisible hands in battle, what would the effect be? He didn't expect it to be so ridiculously overpowered, using just one strike. To kill the giant Arachne, Sung Suho's level also increased. His ruler's authority also reached level 2. But Sung Suho's fatigue had reached its limit. Perhaps it requires more concentration. Using it like this makes his body so tired. Depending on how the ruler's authority is used, battle methods can become quite diverse. At this time, Gray and Asil also arrived. Asil asked in surprise, "Young Monarch, did you defeat the final boss?" Hearing this, Sung Suho smiled until his eyes narrowed. "Of course I did. All the monster materials have been collected too. And now materials can be sold directly in the display window, which is really convenient." At this moment, Beru reminded from behind, "By human hunter standards, young monarch, your strength is approaching B grade." Hearing this, Sung Suho immediately opened his status window. His level had reached 28, exactly as Beru said. At this point, Beru continued, "And after you grew stronger, young monarch, those two, Gray and Essel, seem to have gotten stronger too." Seeing this, Asil experimentally swung her fists. "I do feel like power entered my body after the battle." But Sung Suho was very confused. "Why would you feel like you're regaining power when you haven't drunk any blood?" "But, come to think of it, I seem to be able to see your levels. Essel, 19, Gray, 17. About this, Asil was very puzzled. "We're not players like King Sung Jinwoo, so we can't see levels." Hearing this, Sung Suho pondered for a moment. "Although you can't accumulate points, your points will increase when you level up. It's good that they're getting stronger, but there are still many mysteries about the Descendant Companion system. Why don't we test if they can really level up?" About this, Asil was very confused. "How do we test?" Hearing this, Sung Suho grinned. "Of course, by hunting together." Hearing about hunting, Asil was stunned. "Hunt again? We've already hunted twice today." Beru also reminded him, "Young monarch, everything should be done in moderation." But Sung Suho thought there was still time. "Then let's do the daily quests first." Then he continued to hunt magical beasts with Gray and Asil. But what puzzled Sung Suho was a gate appearing in the shadow dungeon, with intense heat coming from inside. Could the gate's interior be affected? So Sung Suho asked Beru, "Can gates appear in the shadow dungeon too?" Beru just hesitated for a moment. "I'm not very clear about this." At this moment, the system sent a notification. It was an emergency quest, Dimension Crack. Dimensional crack detected, please move through the connected gate. To eliminate the source of the dimensional crack. So it was a system-assigned quest. Seeing this, Sung Suho's lips curved slightly upward. This is going to be fun. So he directly gave Asil and Gray 2 heat-resistant cloaks. Wearing them can block direct light and a certain amount of heat, all bought from the system mall. Perfect. Sung Suho wanted to hunt more magical beasts anyway. Isn't this killing 2 birds with 1 stone? Let's go in immediately. Meanwhile, in the foreign scenery dungeon, Pyramid Zone, he was Ryo Singh, a B-grade hunter from Asura Guild. "Damn, you guys are bullying us. You tell us to leave the dungeon right away, but we Asura Guild came here first." But the green-eyed man just contemptuously replied, "So what if you came first? I'm warning you one last time. From now on, this scenery dungeon belongs to our guild. If you have any objections, we'll consider it as a declaration of war against us." Hearing this, the B-grade hunter from Asura Guild pondered for a moment. Damn, to encounter the powerful scavenger guild here of all places. Before absolute power, everything is clearly futile. And Ryo Singh had encountered Scavenger Guild's B-grade hunter, Randolph. But even so, the people of Asura Guild didn't back down. The dignity of the strong cannot be trampled upon. "Everyone, prepare for battle." To this, Randolph just disdainfully closed his eyes, followed by a cold snort. But just as the two sides were about to engage in a major battle, a large hand suddenly appeared from the side. No, excuse me, I'm sorry to interrupt, but could you tell me where this is?" It turned out that after careful inspection, Sung Suho discovered they had arrived at a desert dungeon. No wonder sand was falling from the gate. At this point, Baru reminded from the side that he sensed powerful magic from inside the pyramid. But it also seemed like there were things that shouldn't be here. Why are there cars and wire meshes? Machines are supposedly unable to start in dungeons. Could there be things that don't belong in the dungeon? Could they have been brought in through the gate? But Baru immediately denied this possibility. That's absolutely impossible. So Sung Suho prepared to go ahead and investigate. But after investigating, something strange happened. He found the dungeon's gate had disappeared. Outside, the man with the crutch and others were puzzled. Could someone have killed the final boss? But Sung Suho still hadn't come out of the dungeon, so everyone hurriedly called for help from the outside world. At this moment, Sung Suho had arrived inside the pyramid, just in time to see the two teams about to clash. So he must have entered the pyramid interior first. And they should have come by car, and their dialogue is all in foreign languages. Fortunately, Sung Suho had learned foreign languages quite well previously. That's why he could communicate with them in a foreign language. Seeing this, Ryo Singh pondered for a moment. Another hunter. After Scavenger Guild, are hunters from other countries also coming to claim ownership of the dungeon? But Randolph just looked disdainfully. How annoying, these insects are really persistent. As he spoke, his gaze suddenly focused. The old lady once prophesied. The life born in death that releases the seal will appear in the tomb with the power to make the dead arise. After this prophecy appeared, the foreign country had a pyramid. Reality-type dungeon, a foreign tomb, pyramid, and death. Doesn't it all match up? At this moment, Randolph remembered the instructions given before leaving. If other guilds come to snatch the dungeon, handle it the scavenger way. So Randolph coldly said with closed eyes, if you're also a hunter who's come for the dungeon, I warn you for the last time, if you leave now, I might still spare your life. Hearing this, cold sweat dripped down Sung Suho's face. If this is a dungeon, even for the sake of completing the quest, he must clear it. So he gave Randolph a negative answer. Seeing this, Randolph's fist suddenly made a cracking sound. You're too naive. Then prepare to leave your life here. Seeing this, Asil and Gray looked worried. Even Ryo Singh didn't expect Randolph to attack suddenly. But Sung Suho easily dodged Randolph's attack. This was something Randolph hadn't anticipated. And Sung Suho also readied his battle stance. You struck first. As he spoke, his long sword directly pierced Randolph's chest armor. With increased strength, Sung Suho didn't know how much damage his long sword would cause. I hit his armor, so he shouldn't die, right? But Randolph was shocked at this moment. Just a little brat. How dare you look down on me? As he spoke, he threw another punch at Sung Suho, and Sung Suho dodged the attack immediately. This angered Randolph, who immediately ordered, whether you're from a Sura guild or an Easterner, kill them all without exception. Seeing this, Gray and Asil couldn't sit still. How dare you attack our young monarch? Did you ask for our permission? Ryo Singh also instantly realized that their battle with Scavenger Guild was inevitable. And Sung Suho's thoughts were roughly the same. If he wanted to complete the emergency quest, he must win in this struggle. Now Sung Suho could be sure that the armored man he had just attacked belonged to the enemy guild, while the position of the man with the small mustache was still unclear. But whatever the case, he had to deal with these armored men first. After several rounds, the armored man realized that he couldn't do anything against Sung Suho for the time being. Brat, your strength is quite surprising. Not strong enough yet you dare to oppose our Scavenger Guild? Wouldn't it be better to obey the strong? At this moment, Sung Suho was also very confused. He originally wanted to knock these armored men unconscious but failed. Who would have thought these guys would be so excited? Can't continue dragging this out, so Sung Suho prepared to use the ruler's authority he had just learned to fight. I don't know if it can be used on humans, the force is too powerful. If I accidentally kill him, that would be bad. But just as Sung Suho was hesitating whether to hold back, Ryo Singh's figure suddenly attacked, directly stabbing the armored man without a word. Immediately after, the armored man coughed up blood from his mouth and nose, then collapsed to the ground with a thud. At this moment, Ryo Singh slowly spoke. When you avoided Randolph's attack, I could see your strength was formidable. But you hesitated just now. Are you afraid of killing? For hunters, the danger isn't just magical beasts. The most dangerous are humans. If you want to protect yourself, you need to have the corresponding resolve. Hearing this, Sung Suho's face showed understanding. I've already made the resolve, even prepared to stake my life. Isn't that enough? Because until now, Sung Suho hadn't encountered a situation where he had to kill someone. Even when fighting with the Hound Guild, due to the vast difference in strength, he could resolve the battle without much effort. But no matter what, he would encounter unfavorable situations, that is, situations where it's kill or be killed. Situations where he can't protect others without killing. But after the Great Change, such situations would probably be commonplace in this world. Always focused on leveling up, Sung Suho had actually ignored one thing, which was to let go of his feelings from before the Great Change. Only then could he fight like Lee Minzong. At this moment, Ryo Singh introduced himself. I'm a hunter from Asura Guild. We're having a headache because of Scavenger Guild. Would you like to team up with us? But as soon as he finished speaking, what greeted him was Sung Soo-ho's power-filled fist. But Sung Soo-ho's target wasn't Ryo Singh. It was the armored man trying to sneak attack from behind him, and this punch mercilessly smashed his face and sent him flying. If Sung Soo-ho encounters this situation again in the future, he would definitely choose to act without hesitation. The armored man on the ground was now beaten beyond recognition, and Randolph's face showed not much emotion. One strike and the B-grade meat shield is in a dying state? As he spoke, a cold smile suddenly appeared at the corner of his mouth. Interesting. At this point, Sung Soo-ho also realized that Randolph would definitely not be easy to deal with. So he said to Ryo Singh, "I'm Soo-ho from H Country, let's team up." After Sung Soo-ho teamed up with Asura Guild, the situation on the field quickly improved significantly. Scavenger Guild also noticed this, but he still looked disdainful. Even if they team up, shrimps are still shrimps. Because in terms of both individual combat power and numbers, Scavenger Guild held an absolute advantage, but they obviously underestimated their opponent. So Sung Soo-ho immediately took out the dungeon key. "I haven't used my full power yet. Arise." Seeing this, the Scavenger team members were stunned. What is this? Normal grade giant Arachne. Under the terrifying combat power of the Shadow Legion, the situation on the field quickly became one-sided. Ryo Singh nearby was shocked. "You're so strong in martial arts and also a summoner, and you can summon so many summons at once. This is too damn overpowered." Seeing this, Randolph was also unusually excited. "Kid, you've been hiding quite a bit. Interesting." Looking at Randolph, Sung Soo-ho couldn't help but think to himself, although strength changes after becoming a shadow soldier, but he should be the strongest person I've encountered so far, taking down with one strike the magical beast that gave me a tough fight. It seems I need to try Gray's bond skill. But just then, Essel suddenly stepped forward. "Young Monarch, please wait a moment. How about using the bond skill with me this time? Didn't we learn how to improve charge during the dungeon clear?" As she spoke, she looked expectantly at Sung Soo-ho. But using an untested skill in actual combat seems a bit unreliable, doesn't it? Hearing this, Essel was extremely disappointed, but she still tried to persuade him. "I hope the young Monarch can give me a chance to help you." But just then, a sudden noise came from behind Essel. "Not good, magical beasts are coming." Were they attracted by the sound of battle? Essel warned, "All other entrances have magical beasts." But Randolph just looked disdainful. "Undead-type magical beasts, I finally understand what the boss meant by the prophecy. Touch the life born in death that releases the seal, and appear in the tomb with the power to make the dead stand up. If it refers to these mummies, then it must be in this dungeon to release the seal on the life born in death. The boss's order is to get ownership of the dungeon, but now the competition between guilds is so intense. The best way is to take away the power that makes the dead rise, which the boss wants." But Randolph was somewhat unwilling to withdraw just like this, so he immediately made a decision in his heart. "All members of Scavenger Guild, listen. Don't worry about hunters from other guilds. Let's find the final boss." Seeing this, Ryo Singh immediately shouted, "Scavenger Guild is entering the interior of the dungeon. Stop them!" But he turned around to find dense mummies in front of him. How annoying. They want the mummies to hold us back. And the entrance is right on their side. Sung Soo-ho also realized that the reward would be gone at this rate. So he hurriedly instructed Gray. "Let's merge, Gray. We should also wrap this up quickly." Seeing this, Ryo Singh's eyes widened. How many secrets does this kid still have up his sleeve? Not only can he summon, but he can also merge. This is too damn overpowered. Meanwhile, Randolph's guild members had already walked into the passage. Although there were scattered mummies blocking the way, they were quickly cleared out. At this point, Randolph finally realized that the kid might still be holding back. "After I get the power to make the dead rise, I will definitely have a good match with him." The room of the final boss should be up ahead, as the ancient door slowly opened. What appeared before them was actually an alien creature chained up. Could this be the final boss? It looks like it's sleeping, but Randolph was very worried inside. A magical beast locked by chains? Didn't the prophecy mention life born in death appears after the seal is removed? At this moment, the creature suddenly emitted a piercing sound from its mouth. Listening carefully, it was actually beast language. Could the magical beast be talking to us? But as the sound grew louder, cracks began to appear on the chains on the creature's arms. As the chain suddenly snapped with a crack, Randolph hurriedly ordered, "Everyone, prepare for battle!" But the creature just swung the chains in its hands, splitting the scavenger personnel in half on the spot. There was only Randolph left on the field, and the creature slowly walked toward him. Seeing this, Randolph was terrified. How is this possible? The guild's invincible meat shields were all wiped out by him swinging iron chains. But at this moment, the creature slowly opened its arms. Randolph was bewildered. Does he want me to attack him? This angered Randolph, who gritted his teeth. Why does everyone look down on me? Do you think I'm a sick cat because the tiger doesn't show its might? Saying this, he directly activated his skill, Giant's Armor. Under this skill, his defense and attack would both be greatly enhanced. But even so, after delivering a slash, Randolph was surprised to find the opponent unharmed. How is this possible? His full-force strike didn't cause any damage at all. Seeing this, Randolph thought, this is bad. I'm sorry, leader. I should have waited for you to come. But no matter how much Randolph regretted, it was too late, as the creature with just a casual strike sent Randolph crashing into the wall. At this moment, the creature finally spoke. It's the first time living beings have come. I wanted to play with you properly, but I didn't expect you to be so weak. But it doesn't matter. It seems there are other living beings, so let's play. Sung Soo-ho's side was still dealing with the endless mummies. Fighting like this, when will it end? Might as well try extracting shadows. But the system prompted Sung Soo-ho that he couldn't extract souls from beings dead for too long, and it couldn't be used on demons. Why are there so many restrictions on skills? But just then, he felt the ground beneath his feet suddenly start to shake violently. The entire ground also began to crack. Suddenly, with a rumbling sound, a centipede the size of a giant dragon erupted from the ground. Damn, one mummy is hard enough to deal with, and now this big guy suddenly appears. No choice, just have to grit teeth and deal with it. But even if Sung Soo-ho attacked with all his might, it was useless. At this point, he realized that these guys' shells were just too hard. This caused attacks to have no effect at all. With no alternative, Ryo Singh reminded to Sung Soo-ho, there are too many magical beasts. Although the ownership of the scenery dungeon was snatched by Scavenger Guild, right now retreat would be wise. Hearing this, Sung Soo-ho pondered for a moment. The content of the emergency quest is to resolve the source of the Red Gate. Even if Scavenger Guild catches the final boss, they might not be able to complete the quest. Therefore, Sung Soo-ho might still have a chance. But just then, a giant claw suddenly appeared. Seeing this, Ryo Singh thought, not good. This is the passage Scavenger Guild went into. The magical beast is coming out from the passage, which means... And Sung Soo-ho also clearly felt at the first moment. This monster turned out to be the tomb prisoner Ammut, and the red name above its head was Disaster Exceeding Magical Beast Specifications. At this moment, Ammut suddenly opened its mouth. Disappear. As soon as the words fell, the mummies outside seemed to have received orders. They actually gave up attacking and all retreated outside the hall. Unexpectedly, Asil could hear Ammut's voice. I just heard that magical beast say disappear. And then the mummy started to retreat. The reason Asil could understand the magical beast's words might be because they are both of the demon race. At this moment, Ammut continued. Every day I see only mindless undead or insects scattered throughout the desert. I haven't seen living beings capable of conversation for a long time. Hearing this, Asil looked puzzled. This magical beast seems quite easygoing. But as soon as she finished speaking, Ammut directly smashed the giant centipede with one hand. Seeing this, Asil was stunned. He killed that centipede with one strike. But Ammut calmly responded. Before chatting with you, I need to clean up all the insects who don't understand language. With that, he directly broke the centipede in half, then immediately bit off the centipede's head. Seeing this, everyone was stunned. The magical beast actually ate another magical beast. The most shocked was Ryo Singh. Because according to their assessment, this dungeon was only CB grade. Why would there be a magical beast that can instantly kill a giant centipede? But Ammut slowly walked toward everyone. It turns out there are other creatures who don't speak the language. Then all of you prepare to die too. Seeing this, Ryo Singh could only struggle to defend with his sword. Asil hurriedly warned from the side, Careful! And Sung Soo-ho charged up at the first moment, barely saving Ryo Singh. You want to kill people just because they don't speak your language? What kind of values are these? Hearing this, Ammut looked disdainful. So there are also humans who can converse. You want to know my values? Then I'll tell you now. Because I've never thought about it before. Saying this, Ammut directly launched an attack at them, slamming Sung Soo-ho against the wall on the spot. Seeing Sung Soo-ho injured, Asil was worried. Young Monarch, you dare to attack the young Monarch. Hearing this, Ammut immediately asked, Is he your companion? But I won't kill you, consider it as your apology to me. Demon race, you should know many things, right? If you could solve my questions, that would be even better. Has the great Shadow Monarch's war with the other monarchs ended? If it has ended, then who won? At this moment, Asil was very confused. How would this guy know about the war between the monarchs? But looking at the young monarch lying unconscious on the ground, and Gray who was already at his last breath, Asil felt extremely desperate. Answer means death. Not answering also means death. Seeing this, Ammut couldn't be bothered to continue asking, and directly raised his right foot to step on Asil. Then you can also die. But at this moment, Sung Soo-ho suddenly spat out a mouthful of fresh blood. Congratulations on recovering from abnormal status. Fortunately, Sung Soo-ho was prepared. The daily quest reward took effect at this moment. Regarding the war between the monarchs, I have heard something about it. It is said that all the monarchs died, and they all died at the hands of the great Shadow Monarch. Hearing this, Ammut stopped his attack. Is what you say true? During the period I was imprisoned here, the monarch's war really ended, right? In response, Sung Suho affirmed, "That's right. The ultimate victor was my father, the great shadow monarch Sung Jinwoo. But this guy is asking about the war related to the monarchs. He might be a descendant of some monarch. This crocodile magical beast's strength is at least S grade. If we upset him, we might all be wiped out." At this moment, Amut continued to ask, "So the other monarchs all died, right? If all other monarchs are dead, then did the monarch of the Iron Body also die at the hands of the great shadow monarch? If he knew Sung Suho was the great shadow monarch's son, he might directly tear Sung Suho apart." But in the next second, his huge palm came swinging down. Seeing this, Esil hurriedly warned Sung Suho, "Young monarch, be careful." But Sung Suho was actually already prepared. Therefore, he dodged Amut's attack with a close call. Then Sung Suho immediately asked, "What are you doing?" Amut explained, "Since you couldn't answer immediately, it means you're thinking about how to deceive me. Let me ask you once more. Did the monarch of the Iron Body die at the hands of the great shadow monarch?" Hearing this, Sung Suho gave I heard he killed all the monarchs. But in the next second, Amut's answer shocked Sung Suho. "No wonder he didn't come looking for me, so he's dead. I should thank the great shadow monarch." Seeing this, Sung Suho hurriedly questioned, "Aren't you family member of the monarch of the Iron Body?" Hearing family member, Amut was enraged on the spot. "You say I'm his servant? What bad luck. Human, you really shouldn't be alive." As he spoke, his heavy fist swung towards Sung Suho again. But just as it was about to hit Sung Suho, Amut's fist was firmly restrained by chains. Then Amut was heard roaring, "Damn these chains! Have I exceeded the domain I can go to again?" Saying this, he began to smash wildly in all directions. "Damn Tarnak! Damn wizard! Outrageous! You all deserve to die!" As Amut spoke, the chains seemed to come alive, and actually dragged Amut back forcibly. Seeing this, Sung Suho was stunned. Although he didn't know what was happening, it was truly fortunate. Almost forgot. Need to quickly find a way to give emergency first aid to Grey and Asura Guild's people. But at this moment, the system quest sounded again. "Dimensional crack detected. Please move through the connected gate. Eliminate the cause of the dimensional crack." Unexpectedly, the emergency quest changed, actually asking Sung Suho to release Amut imprisoned in the pyramid, and he turned out to be a descendant of the monarch of the Iron Body. No choice, he could only grit his teeth and do it. On the way, Sung Suho found the bodies of Scavenger Guild members. They must have all been killed by Amut. Soon they found where Amut was located. Seeing Sung Suho's arrival, Amut immediately questioned, "You came looking for me? Courageous." Hearing this, Sung Suho spread his hands and said, "I just want to have a good talk with you. It seems you really hate the monarch of the Iron Body." "Why is that?" Amut pointed at the chains on his body. "My current state is all because of him. It was Tarnak and the wizard who made me what I am now. It was they who abandoned me in this tomb. They transformed me, originally an ordinary demon, into this form. I was abandoned in a tomb full of undead and chained with these damn chains. Even if I destroy the chains, as long as I leave this place, they will appear again. I can never go to other places further away. I can never forgive Tarnak and the wizard who caused me such suffering." Seeing this, Sung Suho said very seriously, "I've come to rescue you. But how can we make the constantly regenerating chains disappear?" "Wait, the stake." So Sung Suho had a bold guess. Why would the wizard make the chains reappear whenever Amut leaves a certain distance? If I'm not mistaken, there must be another space inside. Sung Suho thought. "If I can help you leave this place, can you satisfy one condition for me?" Amut. About this, Amut was very puzzled. "As long as you can help me leave, not just one, even 10 conditions I would agree to. But if you dare to trick me, you should know the consequences." "Human." Seeing this, Sung Suho gestured to Amut. "Don't rush. Listen to me finish before deciding. I plan to destroy this dungeon. Didn't you just say the chains can't enter deeper places? If this is intentional by the wizard, it's probably because he fears you'll kill the dungeon's master. Then there's only one way, to defeat and destroy the dungeon's master. What happens when the chain's stake loses its foundation? If the stake isn't secure, what meaning do the chains have?" Hearing this, Amut opened his mouth. "This guess is interesting." At this moment, Beru suddenly appeared from somewhere and immediately accused, "Young monarch, how could you not keep Beru by your side but place him beside this savage reptile?" But Amut cursed that he was like a headless fly. Hearing this, Beru was also angered. "You call me a headless fly? I am a commander-level existence. Do you want to die at my hands? Reptile." After conversing with Beru, Amut said he didn't expect that little brat to actually be the great shadow monarch's son. "This is the deepest part of the tomb I can go to. That little brat has gone in for a long time now. If he can't defeat the dungeon's master, he will fail. If the chains can't be undone after destroying the dungeon, he will also fail." But what he said earlier somehow gave Amut confidence. "If you really succeed, little brat, I will agree to the condition you propose. Tarnak, You said physical strength is true strength, that's why you created me. But beings weaker than us can also appear so great at times. That descendant of the great shadow monarch might really be able to help me leave this place. And after dealing with magical beasts all along the way, Sung Suho finally reached the deepest part of the pyramid. With just this final ultimate magical beast left. It is the manager of this tomb, Sika. Before resolving Sika, they had already discussed how Amut could not enter the dungeon because of the chains. So Sung Suho approached this with a try-it-and-see attitude. But for the plan to succeed, he needed to accomplish two things. First, Sung Suho and Asil had to defeat the ultimate boss, Sika, so the dungeon could potentially collapse. Second, they needed to take the opportunity to make the chains lose their function when their support was gone. Only after all these steps were completed could Amut and Beru, freed from the chains, rejoin them, and then together enter the shadow dungeon to escape the collapsing dungeon. If any one thing wasn't accomplished, the operation would fail. Therefore, Sung Suho came up with a second plan. But Amut didn't want to hear it. Having hope is better than having none, kid. I wish you good luck. The graveyard keeper Sika was the boss living in the desert dungeon. Because sand was everywhere, it was difficult to get close to it. Moreover, its name was red, indicating it was at least an A-rank magical beast. Therefore, in battle, Sung Suho's mana would be depleted first, so he needed to resolve the fight quickly. Having said that, he flew to the side. Asil's attack followed closely behind, but Sika merely waved its large hand forward. With a clang, it deflected both their attacks. Seeing this, Sung Suho shouted to Asil, "Let's use our bond skill." Hearing this, Asil's spirit immediately jolted. Yes, young monarch. You finally agreed. She had known the charging conditions for the bond skill when following young monarch through gates. As long as Sung Suho hunted magical beasts, he could absorb their souls and increase the charge value. Now it was time to show the results of their battles. With the powerful enhancement of the bond skill, Sung Suho burst forward and rushed to Sika's face. But just as he was about to unleash the bond skill on Sika, Asil suddenly collapsed behind him with a thud. But she quickly regained consciousness. Young monarch has only seen my incompetent side all this time. This time I must let young monarch unleash the maximum damage of the bond skill. At this point, Demon Strike had charged to 67%. Then let the bond skill end this all. With the sudden boom of Demon Strike, they hadn't expected the power to be so strong, directly shaking the entire dungeon violently. Even Beru was shocked. Is this all done by young monarch? Amut looked at everything with disbelief. What's this? Is the dungeon collapsing? It seems they successfully defeated the dungeon's master. Just as these words were spoken, the base of the chain snapped with a crack. With this, Amut was liberated. Seeing this, Beru quickly reminded him. Crocodile, hurry and follow me to find young monarch. But Amut still couldn't believe it. Have I finally escaped from Tarnak? Even now he didn't understand why Tarnak and the wizard would use ordinary him for experiments. He only remembered how the routine destruction and restoration experiments were extremely painful. Tarnak destroyed his flesh, but the wizard restored his injuries. As the experiments continued over and over, his flesh became extremely strong, but his mind couldn't endure the pain. Therefore, he gouged out his eyes and began to enjoy the pain. Throughout that endless suffering, one obsession always supported him. He wanted to feel once more the magnificent beauty and majesty of nature he saw as a child. If only he could realize this wish in the future. Speaking of which, he directly pulled the stake toward him, then bit it hard, and even as blood flowed from the corners of his mouth, he showed no expression. Next, he violently threw the stake and chain aside. Damn Tarnak and the wizard! Would you rather kill me than release me? At this moment, Sung Suho rushed over. He tried many methods on the chains on Amut's body, but all were ineffective. Why is this stake so secure, and it actively returns to attack people? If the chain wouldn't release Amut, then they would have to move with the stake as well. This was the only option. But Amut still didn't understand. Sung Suho, what exactly do you want me to do for you? Why are you so determined to take me away? To this, Sung Suho didn't answer, but continued trying various methods to destroy the chain. Even if Sung Suho's bones were crushed, he still couldn't break the chain. At this point, Amut continued. I finally know why Tarnak, no, all monarchs, I know why they were defeated by the great shadow monarch. Actually, you don't need to go to such trouble, just put the stake into the gate. Sung Suho didn't believe they couldn't get out. Seeing this, he encouraged Amut, come on. Believe you can do it. Let's struggle to the very end together. At this time, Asil also woke up from her unconsciousness. She asked puzzledly, why am I here? Seeing this, Beru explained, young monarch sent you back to the shadow dungeon after seeing you faint. Then, Asil quickly asked, how's the situation with Amut? Beru made a hushing gesture. Young monarch is resting over there. After hearing young monarch was safe and sound, Asil looked delighted. It seems young monarch has finally succeeded. Now Amut has become Sung Suho's companion. just like Gray and Esil, and the dimensional rift task has also been completed. Meanwhile, in a luxurious office, the chairman was holding documents about Sung Suho's father. After Hunter Sung Jinwoo disappeared, it seems something else occurred quietly. The reappearing gates and hunters were all thanks to the memories left by Hunter Sung Jinwoo. He quickly established the Hunter Association and calmed the chaos after the Great Catastrophe. The appearance of Stardust indicates that what's happening now differs from what happened in the previous world. This is unprecedented. An awakening agent that can enhance low-level hunters' magic power with no side effects. But the only clue now is, the person responsible for Stardust circulation is none other than Death Guild's Vice President Lee Min-sung. He's been so active while guild leader Lim Tae-gyu is away on business, it's very likely Lee Min-sung is operating alone. Lee Min-sung wasn't the type to have such courage in the previous world, there must be other forces behind him. At this moment, the chairman's phone rang. "Representative, what can I do for you? Feel free to contact me anytime. The association's establishment was thanks to your support." On the other end of the phone was Sung Suho's uncle Yu Jinho. "I need the Hunter Association's help. That's why I contacted you. My nephew just awakened as a hunter, and now he seems to be trapped in a gate. You need to find a way to rescue him quickly." Chairman Wu Jinchul. Hearing it was Representative Yu Jinho's nephew, Chairman Wu pondered for a moment. Suddenly he realized, "Are you referring to Sung Suho?" Soon, Sung Suho and others boarded the armored car for the return journey. Ryo Singh and others were sleeping like dead pigs. Seeing this, Sung Suho softly called near his ear. "Ryo Singh, wake up. Also, the dungeon has been cleared. Can I borrow your phone?" After borrowing the phone, Sung Suho immediately called Yu Jinho. According to his uncle, he had already reported to someone he knew at the Hunter Association. Sung Suho might need to visit the Hunter Association. After that, Sung Suho arrived at the airport to return home. Ryo Singh was very grateful for Sung Suho saving his life, and hoped to keep in touch with Sung Suho after he returned home. But what puzzled Ryo Singh was that an S-rank or higher crocodile magical beast would retreat from difficulty, and the dungeon suddenly collapsed. Sung Suho could only pretend it was his good luck. He absolutely could not reveal anything about Amut. Unfortunately, Amut's chains still couldn't be removed. Perhaps because of the chains he couldn't leave the dungeon. Therefore, Sung Suho hadn't fulfilled his promise to him. But Amut indicated to Sung Suho not to worry too much about these things. After all, the original agreement was to let him leave that tomb. After all, the shadow dungeon was much better than that cramped tomb. Instantly, Sung Suho felt like Amut had become a different person. But just then, he grabbed Sung Suho's collar. Without a word, he lifted Sung Suho up, and took Sung Suho to a rooftop. Afterward, Amut finally spoke. Here he could faintly feel the familiar presence of nature. "It was you who brought me out of the tomb, so I will follow you according to our agreement, young monarch." Now it seems the gate appeared in the dungeon and triggered the emergency task to make Amut become Sung Suho's companion. Soon it was time to say goodbye to Ryo Singh, who was inevitably somewhat reluctant to see Sung Suho leave. At the same time, he thought, a B-rank hunter who knows summoning, combat, and transformation must find a way to contact the guild and recruit Sung Suho. Because the gate to return home had closed, Sung Suho had to take a plane this time. At this point, Beru reminded Sung Suho, "Young monarch, you have at least A-rank strength now. That means we're about ready. Then we can start counterattacking Lee Min-sung and Itarim's apostles." Meanwhile, at the Human Cooperation Guild they were discussing. Who would have thought their guild would become so powerful? Originally just a C-rank hunter guild. Now they owned the rights to a B-rank gate in our city and even moved their office to a better location. All thanks to Stardust, which was easily available on the black market lately. But B-rank hunter Kim Sung-soo didn't think so. Is Stardust really that good? I still feel something's off. And the Hunter Association is discussing a ban on Stardust. If there are no side effects, why would the association want to ban it? But just then, a figure appeared at the door. Seeing this, several people quickly turned to look behind them. It was a little boy from Itarim. Is this the Human Cooperation Guild? The guild that owns the rights to the gate in our city, right? Seeing this, Kim Sung-soo stood up and asked him, "Little boy, do you have business at the Human Cooperation Guild?" But the little boy just responded flatly, "Give me the gate." Hearing this, Kim Sung-soo was very confused. "What did you say?" "I said give me the gate." As he spoke, he emanated a strange power. Next, the Human Cooperation Guild members seemed to be under a spell. "We'll do as you order." Witnessing this scene, Kim Sung-soo was stunned. "What joke are you all suddenly playing? Why is everyone standing up?" At this point, the little boy slowly raised his head. "It seems there are still hunters who haven't taken Stardust." "Well then, now everyone listen to my command. Don't use vision or hearing." Seeing this, Kim Sung-soo loudly questioned, "Why are you all listening to this little brat?" But the little boy just responded calmly, "Our creator wants to obtain ownership of a world without a master. That's the purpose of my coming to Earth. But after I arrived here, I had a question. The meaning of existence for created beings should be to execute the Creator's will. But you humans each have different purposes. What will of the Creator are you executing? Hearing this, Kim Sung-soo directly drew his sword. I don't care about any creator, you better make them return to normal. What kind of cult are you? Even if you're a child, if your joke goes too far, I won't spare you. But the next second, Kim Sung-soo was stunned, because the little boy just coldly looked at him. Are you insulting our creator? As he spoke, he tapped the blade with 2 fingers. Instantly, the knife glowed with a dazzling golden light. But Kim Sung-soo had no idea of the little boy's strength. He swung the big knife and slashed toward him. The little boy just casually swung the golden short knife in his hand, and immediately kicked Kim Sung-soo's body in half, but there was no expression on his face. Humans who don't know their limits. Everyone listen, restore your vision and hearing, clean up the corpse here. At this moment, more guild members came over. What happened here? But the little boy just said softly, you will forget everything you saw here. What exactly is free will? The meaning of existence for created beings is to execute the Creator's will. But the created beings of this universe killed the Creator with their own will. No, they should be called dimensional refugees wandering in the dimensional gap. Life as a displaced person must be painful, so I'll grant you an opportunity to vent. Go outside and release your nature freely. I need to investigate this matter further. On the other side, the airport perimeter was full of hunters controlled by Stardust. Itarim's gate was also ready. But judging from the magical power emanating from the gate, if the ultimate boss wasn't defeated immediately, a dungeon break was likely to occur. This position could potentially affect the entire airport, which might be dangerous. But the little boy just gave him a cold glance. The next second, the man immediately changed his tone. Then I'll report to the association that there are no problems here. Hearing this, the little boy just slightly raised his eyes. Suddenly, several powerful magical beasts rushed out from the gate, emanating a terrifying evil aura. And in the little boy's eyes, the so-called meaning of existence for created beings was to execute the Creator's will. When the Creator was very bored, these created beings would engage in battle. When the Creator needed something, the created beings would fulfill the Creator's needs by any means necessary. Because this was the meaning of existence for these created beings. One day, the Creator God suddenly said to the created beings, a fellow from another dimension has died. Use this to reclaim ownership of the masterless world. Just because of one sentence from the Creator God, countless followers of the Creator God gathered and formed an army to head to the masterless world. But the energy required for many soldiers to cross dimensions was unimaginable, and the stronger the created being's power, the narrower the dimensional passage. The army consumed too much time in the dimensional passage, but the army of created beings never gave up. They finally reached the masterless world. But there, the army encountered the great shadow monarch, Sung Jin-woo. Shadows existing like an endless abyss, and each individual in the shadow army possessed incredibly powerful strength. But the terror of the shadows was not just this. When the soldiers of the Creator God died fighting the shadows, their corpses were instantly corrupted by the power of the shadows, turning from comrades fighting side by side into enemies. As more and more soldiers truly died, the power of the shadows grew stronger. The god's army quickly found itself at a disadvantage. Thus, the war that began in the masterless world was forced to move to the outer dimension. Just when the god's army was feeling desperate due to their inability to break through the shadows for a long time, Teal, the messenger of God, proposed a suggestion. This is a good opportunity. Just as they can't go back, the shadows leaving the masterless world would also return due to their enormous magical power. They didn't sense magical power from the life forms of the masterless world, so they could use the mysterious flame beasts to attack it from within. And flame beasts were the lowest level followers who would execute God's will, even if the fire of faith burned them to mental collapse. Although their power was very weak. But for those shadows without magical power, the explosive damage converted from faith was very deadly. If faith was spread in the masterless world and followers were widely recruited, perhaps sanctuaries could be discovered and miracles created. Therefore, the god's army unanimously agreed with Teal's strategy. Then Teal divided his power and abilities into 5 power fragments. And the weakest fragment of power, carrying the flame of the mysterious flame beast, went to the masterless world. As Teal expected, the fragment with weak power wasn't discovered by the shadow army. He successfully entered the masterless world. But this first fragment to arrive at the masterless world encountered unexpected variables. Those life forms of the masterless world without magical power suddenly possessed magical power for unknown reasons. Later it was discovered that all this was because of that great catastrophe, that the people of this world acquired magical power, and the little boy was the fusion of Teal's first fragment and second fragment. The variable of the great catastrophe occurred when they started war with the shadows. Someone must be plotting behind the scenes. Therefore, no more errors could be allowed in the plan. Teal's fragment had to figure out the strongest power of humans with magical power. that is, hunters. To fulfill his mission as Teal's power fragment, he had to stir up some trouble in this masterless world. Only in this way could he draw out the strongest hunter of the masterless world. At this point, the hunters at the airport finally discovered the dungeon break. Someone shouted, "Quickly notify the Hunter Association." This was exactly what Teal's fragment wanted to see. He wanted to witness the power of S-rank hunters. At this moment, Teal looked at a hunter apostle and asked, "Is it a hunter coming from the airport?" These hunters, controlled by stardust, had small amounts of faith accumulated in their bodies. After long-term accumulation, although it had no effect usually, after Teal amplified the faith, they all became puppets at Teal's command. Looking at these puppet hunters, Teal became irritated. So annoying, all of you go back. Watching people being killed one by magical beasts, Teal's heart showed no fluctuation. Because created beings exist for the creator, therefore Teal always believed. Fulfilling God's will was the meaning of their existence. But why do humans also have desires? Desires should be something only creators should have. Could these weak humans be higher-level existences than them? But soon Teal denied this absurd idea. At this moment, Sung Soo-ho had just gotten off the plane. Could it be another dungeon break? How could I encounter such a thing just after returning home? Having said that, he flew with a kick toward the magical beast, and reminded the survivors, "I'll handle the magical beasts, you quickly escape." But Sung Soo-ho's appearance quickly caught Teal's attention. A hunter with a black mask? I've only heard from the Hunting Dog Guild. It was a hunter with a black mask who wiped out their guild. Could he be the uninvited guest Lee Min-sung mentioned? What puzzled Sung Soo-ho greatly was that with such high foot traffic at this gate and such high risk, the Hunter Association shouldn't have allowed the situation to deteriorate without taking any measures. What exactly happened here? The urgent matter now was to evacuate the crowd. Meanwhile, Teal was secretly analyzing Sung Soo-ho. No accumulated faith of mysterious flame beasts in his body. It seems the Black Mask hasn't consumed stardust magic. His strength is either similar to Lee Min-sung or might be stronger. But just then, Sung Soo-ho suddenly activated the shadow summoning power. The previously killed magical beasts instantly became Sung Soo-ho's shadow soldiers. Seeing this familiar scene, Teal was stunned. This is the power once used by the great Shadow Monarch. How could someone in this masterless world also use it? Then what is his relationship with the great Shadow Monarch? That would explain why he attacked the Shadow Guild and Stardust Factory. His existence would hinder their plan to invade Earth. At this moment, Teal had only one thought. He absolutely cannot let this guy discover his existence. Suddenly, a truck was blown over by the explosion's shockwave, and a violent explosion sounded on the spot. Seeing this, Sung Soo-ho flew over to shield Teal and asked, "Little boy, are you all right?" Hearing this, Teal just looked at Sung Soo-ho expressionlessly. The next second, a giant flame beast appeared in front of Sung Soo-ho, staring at him with wide eyes. Little did Sung Soo-ho know, all this was controlled by Teal. At this point, Beru quickly reminded Sung Soo-ho, "Young Monarch, this guy should be the ultimate boss among these magical beasts, and he has Itarim's aura." This suggests that this dungeon break is definitely related to Itarim. But what puzzled Beru was that he always felt this little boy behind them was related to Itarim. Perhaps it was his misconception. At this time, the magical beast also began to attack Sung Soo-ho, and Sung Soo-ho added all the upgrade points to strength. This way, his strength reached 77 points. Then he countered the magical beast's attack with a charged power punch. But Teal quickly realized, he saved me, which means he sees me as a young human. Although he can use shadow powers, he's too weak to be compared with the great Shadow Monarch, but the potential in him is an unknown. Meeting him here is my good fortune, so I must eliminate him right here. But just then, someone walked over. "Still a step late, let's quickly deal with these guys." As he spoke, flames ignited in his hands. Next, countless fireballs bombarded the magical beasts. Instantly, the group of magical beasts was surrounded by blazing fireballs. Seeing this, Teal quickly looked back. Damn, a high-level human hunter has arrived. In just the blink of an eye, the group of magical beasts was burned to ashes. Witnessing this scene, Sung Soo-ho was shocked. Who is this person? How could he solve so many magical beasts in one breath? A hunter on Earth who can control fireballs? That can only be S-rank hunter Choi Jong-in, but the previous magical beast boss hadn't died. You're quite tough. Since that's the case, prepare to die. As he spoke, a fire arrow appeared in Choi Jong-in's hand. Instantly, with a boom, the fire arrow hit the magical beast boss directly in the mouth, blasting it to pieces on the spot. This matter is now concluded. There should be no other magical beast here. Upon seeing Choi Jong-in, the surrounding crowd exclaimed, "Hunter Choi Jong-in is so cool!" Truly the hidden secret weapon. At this moment, Choi Jong-in suddenly realized. There seemed to be another hunter killing magical beasts just now. Why did he abandon his achievements and flee as soon as I arrived? Why was that? Little did he know that Sung Soo-ho didn't want to be discovered because being questioned about his identity would be troublesome. It was better to hide first. Back home, Sung Soo-ho collapsed on the sofa. Beru asked puzzledly, "Young Monarch, Why do you look so tired? Hearing this, Sung Suho had to explain. First I was called over by uncle, and listened to his lecture for who knows how long. Protecting Earth is important, but you must prioritize your personal safety. If anything happened to you, how would I face your parents? I'm sure mom and dad would worry about me too. It seems I must continue to enhance my strength. Beru, let's go to the Shadow Dungeon now. I came in such a hurry today I haven't completed the daily tasks yet. I can't miss any rewards. Seeing this, Beru looked helpless. This guy has become addicted to leveling up. But when they reached the Shadow Dungeon, Sung Suho was stunned. The daily tasks had vanished without reason. After a seal informed Sung Suho about what happened, he understood that all this was thanks to Amut. This guy had killed all the green demons in the dungeon in just one night, and his attitude was extremely arrogant. I was just helping young Monarch clear out those disgusting Tarnak minions. I didn't violate the agreement by killing humans, did I? Thinking about it, what Amut said was right. But without green demons and daily tasks, Sung Suho's leveling speed would slow down. But Amut reassured Sung Suho, young Monarch, don't worry, I can actually help you train. I wasn't always this strong. I know how to train, and I will definitely help you become stronger. Just with these words from Amut. A daily task coincidentally triggered, prepare to become stronger. Would you like to accept? How could Sung Suho possibly refuse? So he unhesitatingly chose to accept. But the task requirements were bizarrely extreme. 100 push-ups, 100 sit-ups, 100 squats, and 10 kilometers of running. Is this the way to become stronger? Then Amut stated, of course, these barely count as training. The important thing is you need to do these while carrying me. It was then that Sung Suho saw the task note. Must be done while carrying Amut. Seeing this scene, Sung Suho froze. How can I carry you when you're so big? But Amut told Sung Suho not to worry. Because Tarnak continuously destroyed and regenerated my flesh, I can adjust my body size myself. As he spoke, his bones made crackling sounds. Afterward, he became slightly taller than Sung Suho. This size should be fine for young Monarch, right? No problem, let's start. Young Monarch. Hearing this, Sung Suho directly lay on the ground. Then I'll rely on you, Amut. But due to his limited strength, releasing the bond required additional conditions, though triggering the task was quite good. However, this guy seemed to have only changed his form, but his weight hadn't changed at all. Amut directly pressed on Sung Suho until he could barely breathe, his arms almost breaking. Seeing this, Amut pondered for a moment. It's painful, but you must endure. I only know the growth method of destruction and regeneration. Meanwhile, in P-City's real-world type dungeon, the fire doesn't seem hot enough. The speaker was Lee Min-sung. How long do I have to do this dirty work? But the Stardust Factory's demon Murmu stated, you should feel honored for this. Hasn't that person saved depraved you and me? Hearing this, Lee Min-sung directly extinguished his cigarette and shot an arrow that cut off demon Murmu's tentacle. A mere magical beast dares to try to evaluate my life? Are you tired of living? By the way, where's that kid? Murmu stated. The emissary is busy, he should be back soon. Please trouble you to tell that kid, Lim Taegu is about to return to H country, and he should fulfill his promise. At this moment, Demon Murmu suddenly took out a yellow crystal. Why haven't you used it? When the Great Shadow Monarch wiped out the demon realm, I was also banished to the dimensional gap. It was the emissary who saved me. He modified the berserker blood poison, brought Stardust to the demon realm, allowing us to overthrow the traitorous Radiru family. As long as you follow him, you can become stronger than you are now. Lim Taegu won't be your opponent in the future. But Lee Min-sung just threw his cigarette butt on the ground with a smack. Magical beasts who don't understand S-rank shouldn't pretend to know. And don't try to indoctrinate me with cultist thoughts, I'll never use that thing. Upon hearing this, Murmu became enraged. What a foolish human. You're destined to be a failure. But Lee Min-sung's goal was very clear. Just endure until the little brat kills Lim Taegu. After that's done, I'll report them to the Hunter Association. There shouldn't be any issues. Let everything return to how it was before. Back to my glorious past. Little did he know, his whereabouts had already been tracked by the association. Chairman, I've discovered Lee Min-sung coming out of the dungeon. I think that should be where Stardust is produced. Hearing this, the chairman stated, thank you for continuing to track him, Hunter Bake Miho. It seems Lee Min-sung is finally showing his foxtail. In this dungeon break incident, all association personnel managing nearby gates simultaneously lost their memories. They should all be hunters who have consumed Stardust. Abnormal hunter behavior has now been discovered in many places, with the common factor being they all consumed Stardust. And suspicious locations have already appeared, so the Hunter Association plans to officially ban Stardust. How do you plan to handle this? Chairman Lee Min-sung. Arrest him, and his behind-the-scenes manipulator. Hearing this, Choi Jong-in put on glasses. Our Hunter department will fully cooperate with you. But speaking of which, Chairman Yu Jinho said Suho has safely arrived home. If Suho could be a hunter who can grow like Hunter Sung Jin-woo, he might be controlled by the hunter system like his father. But don't worry, Your Majesty, I will assist Suho well. Meanwhile, Sung Soo-ho was already exhausted beyond recognition. Fortunately, the 100th push-up was finally completed. Gray and Asil on the side couldn't bear to watch anymore. "Young Monarch, can you still persist? Your arms are broken." And Beru was already furious. "You savage crocodile! How dare you treat young Monarch's noble body this way? How dare! Stop the training immediately! Immediately!" But Sung Soo-ho forcibly opened the shop window and bought a potion to drink. "I can continue. It's good that I can become stronger before fighting Lee Min-sung. There are still 3 items left, right? Then let's continue. I want to prepare to become a strong person. Young Monarch, your training is too intense." Even though Amut was pressing him until his bones cracked, Sung Soo-ho hadn't stopped his steps in training himself. "If it's really unbearable, drink another potion. If 1 bottle isn't enough, then take 10 more. Even Amut was very shocked. Although he still needed skills to barely persist, he really hadn't expected Sung Soo-ho to hold on until now. Young Monarch would find ways to solve any situation encountered, and never thought of giving up easily. Perhaps one day, he would become an existence surpassing Tarnak and other monarchs. But if you want to train by yourself. You even had to drag Gray to suffer with you. Fortunately, under his persistent training, today's task was finally completed. Amut stated, "Today's training ends here." Although it was training like hell, at least Sung Soo-ho's strength increased by another point, and his impact resistance and defense also improved significantly. Although he didn't know how long the training would take, when Sung Soo-ho could adapt to this daily task, he would definitely be much stronger than he is now. But due to the excessive training intensity, once night fell, Sung Soo-ho directly crawled into bed to rest. Beru on the side was very sympathetic. "You've worked hard, young Monarch. As for me, I'll take this time to do something I want to do." After the airport dungeon break incident, the Hunter Association immediately issued relevant restrictions. Real-world type dungeons differ from dungeons inside gates. Because magical beast materials and magic crystals can be periodically obtained, the Hunter Association assigned ownership of real-world type dungeons to private guilds. This brought enormous benefits to guilds. Regarding this, the Hunter Association stated, "The Death Guild and other private guilds owning high-level real-world type dungeons should quickly take relevant measures." Sir Lee Min-sung, "The Death Guild owns too many real-world type dungeons. We cannot ignore real-world type dungeons that endanger social safety." The Hunter Association leadership has ordered an attack on the B-rank real-world type dungeon under the Death Guild's name in P-City. And they've discovered that Hunter Lee Min-sung hasn't entered the dungeon for half a year, even just to maintain his hunter license. Please join this operation in the P-City area. Lee Min-sung immediately realized, this must be an action targeted at me by Chairman Woo Jinchul. But why specifically the P-City area with the largest factory? In any case, he had to refuse this proposal, even if it meant making enemies with the association. But the decision-maker wasn't Lee Min-sung, but S-rank hunter Lim Taegyu. "We will follow the association's arrangements." At this moment, Lee Min-sung felt like 1,000 needles were stabbing him. No wonder he returned early from overseas dispatch. It was to interfere with me, Lee Min-sung thought. Just after the investigators left, Lee Min-sung immediately questioned Lim Taegyu. "Do you know what you're doing? Are you crazy? Do you know how much a real-world type dungeon is worth?" But Lim Taegyu was naturally not stupid. "Do you think the Hunter Association's purpose is to eliminate real-world type dungeons? The association must have discovered what you've been doing secretly. Didn't I warn you not to underestimate the association? You not only ignored my warning but also arbitrarily dispatched guild members while I was away. Are you still treating me like a driver who cleans up after you every day?" Lee Min-sung. At this moment, the phone in Lim Taegyu's pocket suddenly rang. It was a headhunter, calling to say a new S-rank hunter had appeared in H country. "Lee Min-sung, you go prepare immediately. I need to visit the Hunter Association first." As he left, he gave Lee Min-sung one last message. "Perhaps things can still be salvaged. Let's do our best to conclude this together." Little did he know that upon hearing about the new S-rank hunter, Lee Min-sung completely lost his temper. "Another S-rank? What's so amazing about becoming S-rank just by luck? Damn alien little brat. When will you grow up? When will that thing called power fragment arrive? Hurry up and kill this damn Lim Taegyu. Only by killing Lim Taegyu could I..." Thinking of this, Lee Min-sung laughed wickedly. And the new hunter was none other than the grown teal. "Congratulations on becoming H country's new S-rank hunter, Hunter Park Dojin." The speaker was Hunter Choi Jong-in from the Hunter Department. But Choi Jong-in always felt he had seen him somewhere. So he asked, "Have I seen you somewhere before?" Hearing this, TL immediately explained, "Although I've long admired the famous Hunter Choi Jong-in, this." Park Dojin asked, "Would you be interested in joining our hunter division?" Hearing this, TL pointed to the side and said, "I'm sorry, I've already joined a new guild." As he spoke, an evil smile appeared on his face. Time quickly moved to a week later in P-City District. "I've been dispatched by the Hunter Association to participate in this P-City District suppression. I am Baek Mi-ho from the White Tiger Guild. I am Lee Min-sung, pleased to meet you. Thank you, Hunter Bake Miho, for handling this real-world dungeon together. Hearing this, Bake Miho responded, "Don't mention it, this is what I should do." Little did they know, Bake Miho was very clear about his background. Someone who used to be an actor is indeed different, pretending to be kind while being extremely black-hearted. Anyway, the secrets of Peace City District were about to be revealed today. I will personally expose your true identity. However, there's another variable. The S-rank Hunter Park Dojin, who recently joined the Reaper Guild, has also gotten involved. It doesn't matter, because even if the situation gets worse, Bake Miho still has other methods. But what Lee Min-sung didn't anticipate was that Sung Soo-ho had also taken the opportunity to infiltrate the mining team. The attack on Peace City District begins.